She wanted us to lie about how he died. I said, I'm not doing that.
She wanted you to lie about how he died?
She said, okay, well, I'm going to use this on you if you don't get in the shower. And it just went off.
And she said, and I pointed it at him, I pulled the trigger.
I heard her on the phone telling people what's happening. It's a different story every single time.
And that's the thing, I just want to know the truth.
It was loaded, fully loaded. It's
It was fully loaded?
This is Mary Ann Agan. But is she caught up in a tragic accident or an evil wife who plotted her own husband's murder? Part 1 of this series features the beginning of this twisted true crime case. We follow the police body cam on January 25th, 2025 as Carrollton officers race to the scene of a gun accident at a Georgia home. There they find James Agan with a gunshot wound. He's being comforted by his wife, Mary Ann. While James is rushed to hospital, investigators conduct a police interrogation with Mary Ann at the scene. Mary Ann admits to shooting James, but claims it was an accident, as James was teaching her about the gun. Discovering that James has dementia, that the gun had to be cocked, and that 2 bullets were fired, investigators start to question Mary Ann's story. It's also clear that she's been drinking heavily. Then word comes from the hospital that James has died, turning the case into a homicide investigation. Police continue processing their crime scene, but are unable to find enough evidence to charge Mary Ann. Needing to gather more information about the Agans' relationship, detectives turn to their son David and daughter-in-law Nicolette.
Y'all have a seat. So, again, obviously we spoke briefly the other night, but I just kind of wanted to get an understanding of not only your dad's relationship with her, but kind of the dynamics of your dad's condition prior to his passing, and just kind of understanding what's going on before I try to talk to her again. Now I've gotten a call from a lawyer that she's retained, so I don't know if she's going to come up and talk with me. I'm going to try.
She's not.
Okay, so
That's what she just said this morning, so.
she said she's not going to come
Not
to speak
doing
with
that,
me.
she's not doing a lie detector.
Well, that's up to her. We don't have to do that, but we can
Right.
still sit down and talk, and that's up
Right.
to her. So we'll start at, for the most part, obviously, your dad's condition. When did he get diagnosed with dementia?
I'm not sure the exact year, it'd be around 18.
Luke? Yeah, Luke was born, it was his first birthday, so it was 2018 because we went to Disney World.
Okay.
And that's when we started doing family vacations because we weren't sure how much time we had with him.
Okay.
Right.
And how serious was his level of dementia before his passing?
It had progressed quite a bit.
Yeah, but more good days than bad.
Okay.
So, as long as he kind of stayed around like normal areas that he was familiar with, things like that, generally wasn't too bad.
Yeah.
Any kind of sundowners
Oh
associated
yeah, he
to it?
started that, that's probably started over the last, what?
Year and a half,
Yeah.
maybe. Yeah.
And what kind of actions? I mean, was it just complete loss of memory? Just kind of getting lost around if he was out and about? What do you think?
Just kind of hit or miss, kind of skip. You know, it just depends kind of what it was. Some days very fluid, very, very lucid, and then some days, had a tough time with fairly simple things for the most part.
Okay.
You kind of tell who's in his own head and just kind of.
He'd be kind of on a loop,
kind
like
of
repeat.
Kind of, yeah.
Ask the same questions over and over again.
Yeah. Some days it was like, it was just kind of, where are we going again? And you tell him, like, okay.
Yeah.
Could he take care of himself?
Yeah, for the most
I
part.
mean, for the most part, he dressed himself, he fed himself. Now, he got to the point where he didn't really make himself a meal anymore.
Right. Or if he ate, he would just kind of, if it was out, it was one of those things, if it was out, like if you walk by the kitchen, he'd say like a cookie or this or that, or, that type of stuff. Sure. Didn't really fix meals, but if we ever went over, we'd make him stuff and he would eat generally fine.
And I guess my line of question is if Mary Ann was like his sole caretaker, more or less, through this, was she?
For the most part.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Did she have to work a lot to kind of take care of them, to maintain them, keep an eye on them, or were they just still in a basic marriage?
She still kind of came and go.
Yeah,
she we would always cover down, and like if she was gone or for whatever, for any extended period of time, but no, day to day, she could come and go.
Yeah, she gets massages, her nails done, her hair done. She would leave him alone.
Go shopping, go whatever. Yeah. But if she went like an overnight, just as she'd let us know.
We'd check on him.
Gotcha.
Yeah, check on him, pop in on him, whatever, but never an issue.
So, you're James's son, and obviously wife here, but did Mary Ann have kids as well? You said she has a son?
She has 2 sons. 2, yes, sir.
And they're local?
One's in Atlanta, and the other one's in Texas, I think it is.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, and he'll be in Friday.
Kyle's coming in?
Yep.
Okay.
Kyle's I forgot to tell you that earlier, so.
Okay.
It's gonna be Friday, and then Blaine's coming back next week.
So you mentioned at some point you decided to take all the guns out of the house.
Yes.
Tell me about that. Why'd you do that?
More than anything, one of the things she kept bringing up was basically she wanted a gun for protection, one thing or other. But the thing was, I'm prior military. And the thing is she had no knowledge, no know-how, but also really no want or willing to kind of learn. And I just saw that as a detriment. And actually the gun that I carry, my everyday carry, is the one I actually purchased off of her because it was a little Ruger 380, but it had no safety. And the day that I realized that she said she went and bought it, she had around in the chamber and pulled it out with her finger on the trigger out of her purse.
Okay.
I was like, oh, okay, let me see what you got. And then I take the clip out, round comes out, I'm like, so anyway, so it just for the whole thing, everything surrounding that, she stated she wanted something, for protection.
Okay.
Or just to have in case it needed. But the thing is, it'd be more of a detriment because there's no knowledge behind it.
Did your dad have a lot of guns in the house?
No.
So he.
Well, he had the little revolver, and then he had like 2 or 3 of like rifles, older rifles that had been passed down.
Okay.
But those have been out of
Well,
the house for a while.
let me also say that we have been told with dementia, sometimes they get scared.
Yeah.
And what we were kind of also worried about was that he may not recognize her one day and may try to think she's an intruder.
Sure.
So that was another reason why we thought there probably doesn't need to be a gun
Just go ahead
in
and
the
get all the
house.
guns out of the
Yes.
house.
Right.
And now
Right.
this was a couple years ago when you
Yeah,
got
it's
these
been a
guns?
while.
Yeah, it's been a couple of years ago,
Yeah.
easily. 2, I'd say at least at a minimum 2.
But somewhere around the same time frame is when she decided she wanted to have a gun, Marianne.
This has been on and off for a couple of years.
And then she got herself a Ruger 380.
Uh-huh.
She showed it to you. You realize that she does not know how to.
Second I saw no
handle a
safety
weapon.
on it, I was like, no, and then when I got it, because I was actually just curious, like, what kind of gun did you get?
Yeah.
I said, because we need to go out and fire it, I need to give you some little bit of background to kind of what to do, what not to do. And then, like I said, when I was around in the chamber, I was like, yeah, you definitely don't, because if you just drop your purse hard enough.
Was she okay with you taking the gun? Or buying it from her, I guess?
Yes, yeah. The idea was, I said, don't have a safety on it. I said, let me take this one, and then at some point, maybe we'll go out and try to source you another one or whatever, but we need to get some training in before any of that. And so my whole thing was really just not ever make sure that ever happened, because I didn't see there was any need. And then there was, with alcohol and other things, that was not gonna be good for any scenario with him with dementia and her having. That was like, yeah, no gun needs to be in that scenario.
So you didn't know there was still a gun in the house until all this happened?
I did remember the little revolver deal, but the thing was that I could have swore I thought my sister said that they had gotten it.
Okay.
And so I really hadn't thought much about it.
Okay.
Being over there, I hadn't really seen it.
Okay.
Or anything else. Again, my
She's
dad.
never mentioned it.
Even if somebody broke in the house, my dad's last step would be to go grab a gun.
Gotcha.
I mean, that's just, he's not programmed that way.
Okay.
So yeah, I just had, yeah.
Didn't know it was there. I gotcha.
Yeah.
Well, and just some insight on that, and we'll get to Marianne and kind of her lifestyle. The gun that we recovered after the fact was fully loaded, and it had 2 spent shell casings in it.
Right.
So we obviously know where one spent shell casing came from.
Yeah.
But the second one still is kind of a mystery right now. I don't know if somebody had taken and fired that weapon some point in the past, recently,
She
who knows
hasn't
when.
mentioned it, I don't know.
She hasn't mentioned it to my knowledge yet, and I don't know of anybody else besides myself that would go to a range, because her sons would not.
But you haven't seen that gun, have you?
No, not in a while.
I haven't either. I didn't even
Yeah.
know that. I didn't even know that gun existed.
But yeah, because
So,
that was the one I took with Maddie a long time ago.
okay.
When that's one she shot, but I mean, it's just kind of just a fun
Little 22.
gun, yellow 22, like an old style Western type,
Okay.
But no, that thing was never kept loaded without question. I mean, that was just a no-brainer, and then again, I mean, so I don't know where that would have even come about. But,
Okay.
you know.
And that's something we're still trying to piece together.
Right.
You know what I mean, is how, when all that stuff happened, obviously only one side of the story can tell us that right now. Marianne, so she's an alcoholic? Is it just, does she drink a lot?
She's an
What-
alcoholic.
what
She's
are
an
we
alcoholic.
thinking?
So,
Okay.
it's been, yeah.
How much do you think she drinks a night?
She could drink anywhere between a whole bottle of wine to a bottle and a half of wine, big bottle.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And she goes to the liquor store a lot.
Okay.
Yeah, we generally would track
We
her
actually
on.
had to quit allowing her to get our kids from school because my son came home and told me they had to stop and get GG juice.
Okay.
And we were like, what's that? And
Mm-hmm.
we found out she was going to the liquor store, leaving my kids in the car and going, so we had to end that.
Gotcha. I understand. We spoke a little bit the night of about kind of her behavior, more or less, and some of the questions I was asking, you might be able to shed some light on this as well, is was she ever violent, physical, even when she's drunk, when she's not? Did you
Yes.
ever know her to be that way?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Could you give me some insight on that?
Well, it's more really towards you. I'll let you do that. I mean, that was, the first instance, I think, was when we were at the house and before the house we bought.
The rental house.
Right. She got angry and come busting through the door.
She got angry, busted in our door, about her mama's table got left outside in our
That's what
move,
it was.
and it got wet. I didn't realize that had happened, and I don't know why she took it out on me. It was the movers that left it out, but she came in and threw her keys at me and then threw me against the refrigerator,
Really?
leaving bruises on me, and he got her off of me.
Okay.
And she said, I'm just so depressed. She had gotten in some money trouble at the time. And she's like, I'm just so sorry. You know, I just was, I was just, you know, emotional about this, and I took it out on you. And then we've had another incident where she had bought some medication for my son, some vitamins. And he told her he wasn't going to take them because he didn't like them. He's 6 or 5 or however old he was. And she threw them at him. It missed him.
Okay.
And it hit a shelf, and it knocked some glasses down.
It shattered some glasses.
How long-
And this was on vacation.
How long ago was it when she got physical with you about the table?
That was in
2015, 16.
16.
We bought the house in 16, so I would say,
2015, because it was fall
late
of
2015, 2016, early 2016 had to have been.
And the incident with throwing the bottle at your son?
2020.
2020, yep.
So anything
big
else?
stuff.
What about specifically with James? Have you ever seen her be physical or impatient with
She's been
James?
impatient with him.
Been impatient, a lot of rhetoric, a lot of threats, you know, things like that. She's never been physical with me,
Sure.
you know, but.
I've never seen her be, has she been, I don't think I've ever seen her be
I mean,
physical
with
with
your dad,
him.
yeah, with your
No.
dad. Like, you ever seen like a
No.
level of impatience, especially with folks that have dementia where they're just not listening or doing?
Patience, you know, little stuff like, you know,
Yeah.
that kind of stuff, you know, and, you know, little stuff like that, but nothing.
Nothing out of the norm that would be
Nothing
like, I'm just getting
notable.
tired of this, I'm tired
Right.
of your stuff.
Right.
Nothing like that?
Mm-mm.
Okay, okay. Did they have a healthy marriage, a healthy relationship?
I think they did before the dementia, but I think after he got dementia, it seems like he was getting worse, and then she was drinking more.
Okay.
So I think at some point that, you know, that it was probably harder to have any kind of marriage when he doesn't remember things. So
What about life insurance, things like that? Has there been any
I-
discussion on that recently with her, any kind of
Very
plans?
little, to my knowledge, there's not
I kind of
any.
threw it out last night. I was like, is there any life insurance policies we need to start working on to get
Yeah.
the funeral taken care of? That's all I was trying to ask about. And she said that the college had one, but she didn't know how much it was for. And that he was court ordered to have his ex-wife a $50,000 life insurance policy.
Okay,
And she said other than that, that was it. She didn't have anything herself from him.
okay.
But what I will say is, I found something yesterday from 2022 where she cashed out a life insurance policy back then, I think, to pay for the bathroom. I don't know how that works, but it said something life insurance policy, and it was a check for $40,000.
So she cashed out a life insurance policy?
Like, is it a whole life? that you
Yeah,
can do
sometimes
that
if you're
with?
maintaining it, I think it's whole life, yeah, to
You
where,
can cash against it or something?
yes, like it's still yours if you.
But I mean, that
don't
was
use it.
2022, you know what I'm saying? So it
Right.
wasn't like that
I
had
got
just
you.
come in the mail, you
And
know,
that's not nothing that would
obviously.
have any detriment to what happened recently, I don't think.
No, I'm
She
just
doesn't
saying that I
stand
think
in
there
that
was
for-
one that I think maybe she's
I got
cashed
you.
it all out, maybe, I don't know how that works.
Okay.
I'm kind of speaking ignorantly on that.
And I guess some of these questions, you know, and I've been very frank, we're looking at it all right now.
Sure.
You know,
And
whether it's
we're
an
not-
accident or whether it's something purposefully done. So between both of those, I'm trying to understand, you know, what her level of understanding on weapons is, what her lifestyle choices are like in those moments, to where maybe there's some accidental things that did occur, or whether or not she had motive or reason to actually purposefully fire the weapon.
There's been some concerning things over the last, for me, that I've seen, because I've been with her, but she, when I got there Monday, yesterday, she had already taken his phone off her plan
Okay,
and was gonna throw his phone away. And she's like ready to pack up all this stuff and get rid of all of it. And I'm just,
That's what we're doing tomorrow, actually.
it's just odd behavior for somebody that's accidentally, tragically, I mean, I can imagine, I would be so, I would, you'd have to hospitalize me, you know? And she's just like, yep, I went ahead and got rid of the phone line, and I'm just gonna throw the phone away, and I'm just gonna throw all his clothes away. I was like, I don't know, to me, I mean, I guess everybody handles things differently. It's odd.
They do, and I'm with you there. And I've worked a lot of death investigations and things to where people have acted completely different from what I would assume would be normal.
Right, I know.
And I have come to that conclusion as well, as people do handle things differently, and I try not to let that sway me.
I know, I'm trying not to let it sway me either, but
Same way, we're trying to be.
it's not, if he had passed away in his sleep, okay, fine. The Lord took him, it was his timing. It is what it is. Let's just kind of move on from everything. This is traumatic.
Yes, ma'am.
And it doesn't, she slept in the bed
Yes, ma'am.
after it all happened. And I can't, I
Some
don't,
of guilt or even remorse or nothing. It just.
and that just concerns me. It's almost like she's relieved, and I hate to, and I understand this is how I feel. I'm not saying anything, I'm not pointing in any direction, it's just this is how I feel about it, and I just.
Well, her thing with weapons again, but we've been to a range with her, and I've discussed enough with her, were like two things. Muzzle awareness, keep your finger out of the freaking trigger.
That's right.
I mean, that's basically.
And you've been over that with her,
A
so.
billion times, you know, to the point of like just, yeah. So it's, so, you know, ignorance, she don't have a lot of hands-on maybe, but when it comes to not knowing.
And another concerning thing is I've heard her on the phone telling people what's happening. It's a different story every single time.
So I wanted to get into that with you, and I know you were at the residence while we were having conversations, while officers were having conversations, but can you tell me what she has told you specifically about what happened?
Well,
in
the
her
first
story?
phone call we got, she called us, you know, frantic. She said Jim had been shot. My first thought was he was walking Maggie and accidentally walked into the wrong residence. They thought he was an intruder and they shot him.
Okay.
That literally, that went through my head, like that's the only logical explanation. And then the officer got on the phone and told me she shot him in the shoulder. And I was like, okay, so we got him, got in the car. Well, she calls us midway there. We were coming through the square at the time. And she said that she had asked him to show her that gun and how it worked and what it, you know, how to load it.
She had asked him to show
She
her.
asked him,
Okay.
right? Am I wrong?
Yes, no,
That's what she said.
she said.
And so I was like, okay. And she was so calm telling me. I mean, I just,
Yeah.
again, it just was weird how calm she was. But anyways, and I said, okay, well then what happened? She goes, well, it just went off and it hit him in the shoulder. I don't know what happened. I don't understand. You know, I don't know how that could have happened. I know we're not supposed to have a loaded gun. I know, you know, we are.
JD's told me 100 times, and you know,
Don't
finger
point it at anybody.
Yeah.
And then when we got there, I overheard her telling an officer, I think, what happened. And she said that they were standing in front of each other. And he was showing her, and she accidentally pulled the hammer back too hard. And when she released it, it went off.
Okay.
And then she told, I don't know who she told, but she said that they were sitting side by side. And he was showing her the gun. And she had turned it a weird way and pulled the thing, and it went off. And I was like, that's all different things. I mean, I don't remember if I pulled the hammer back, or he didn't show me that there was bullets. I don't know. And then she, I think, said that he showed her how to load it. And now she's saying that he never showed her how to load it.
Yeah, I think that was some confusion I was getting
It
to.
makes no sense why he would have loaded something to show her how to operate a gun. There would be absolutely no need for rounds to go into the gun.
What did she tell you about loading it? Do you recall? Did you guys ask her specifically, either in the moment or after the fact, since this all, or anything?
She said last night when we were kind of like rehashing some stuff and going over some things, she was just like, yeah, I took it out of the holster and he never touched it. And he was pointing things on it. And she's like that. He's like, that's where the bullets go. And he showed me the little thing and how it clicks around. And then I was holding it, and he was sitting on the bed, and I was standing in front of him. And I said, because you know, she said that she had been arguing about the shower. And she had got in front of him and goes, okay, well, I'm going to use this on you if you don't get in the shower. And it just went off. And so her son was like, well, didn't you know it was loaded at the time? And she goes, no, Jim said it wasn't loaded.
Which completely just
It
contradicts.
contradicts itself.
If she's manipulating the cylinder and he's showing her where the bullet goes, I don't know.
How did she not know it was loaded? That doesn't make any sense to me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did she make any mention of the ammunition? Is she putting ammunition
She
in the
didn't say
gun?
anything about loading it. She said it was already loaded when she pulled it out of the holster. It must have been because when she shot it, she said Jim told her it was on, but Jim wouldn't have known. Jim's got dementia.
My dad was.
He could have loaded it earlier in the day and wouldn't have remembered it, but that's just, he doesn't like it when we have guns at our house. He'll get a new gun and his dad's like, whoa, now you need to put that away.
Yeah, he's never been real
He's always been
comfortable around
really
me, so,
uncomfortable, because we got our boys like a Red Ryder BB gun, and he was scared to death about the boys using that Red Ryder BB gun.
Right.
Yeah,
So, I don't know, to me, it just,
I understand.
it doesn't sound right, and I'm
Nothing with
a
that lines
rule
up with my
follower,
dad from
and
day one. It does, because even though he was military, raised up with guns, he's never been the one to, let me show you a gun, like, and if it was outside, I mean, it was just, he was almost
Overly
to the point,
cautious.
way overly cautious.
I don't see him
Way
I mean, he
overly
would have
cautious.
looked to see if there was bullets in it, I feel like.
I mean, it was to the point, I mean, it's just.
Something doesn't sound right.
Yeah, I mean, even with a pellet gun, I mean, or something, he just.
What about you? Have you had a chance to talk to Marianne about it specifically? Ask her what happened? Did you try to get your side
I
of
haven't
things?
asked directly. What I do is just absorb in whatever she puts out around everybody else. I'm afraid to start going that route because I'm not okay with it.
You're gonna put some emotion into it. You'd rather not to. I understand.
I'm trying my best not to because I
Yes,
know
sir.
once that ball gets rolling, I'm already past the sad part. I'm at the angry part now. And so I'm just I'm trying to mitigate me.
I don't know, it just feels off. It's like I told you that night, something doesn't feel right,
And that's my job. And and again, and I've told you guys since the beginning, I do my very best in these type of cases to keep an open mind and to stay very objective in just fact collecting.
Yes.
Regardless of how it sometimes looks, but not trying to steer in a certain direction.
Sure, and that's not what we want
Right.
either.
No, of course not.
So
So,
we just want to know.
and I'm just trying to understand both sides and try to make sense of it as best I can. And some of that comes in with evidence, some of that comes in with statements like you're giving me, some of that comes with her statements, which I'd love for follow-up, to help piece some of that together. Autopsy will be a part of that too as well, to kind of understand what's going on. And we're sending some things off to the crime lab, to try to get an idea how far the gun was away from him when it went off. So you guys kind of continuing to just, if you notice things when you talk to her, if something does stand out, please don't hesitate to call
You
me.
said
and
something
let me
stood
know.
out this morning when y'all went to the financial place.
She made mention, because basically we're doing like a power of attorney. And so, she had called the attorney or whatever, anyway, they said they were gonna be able to get her in there like the 25th of February or something, which is still a while. So anyway, so I was like, I said, generally power of attorney, I wouldn't think would be that major of a deal. I said, we may be able to print them out online, go get it notarized, whatever. So we were able to do that. So we went over to to get notarized over, I guess, at our financial place, Garrett, Roger and Garrett or whatever. Anyway, it's right up here, anyway. So we went in there, they were talking, and anyway, she made mention about, I can't believe what happened to Jim, I'm sorry, and everything, and she's like, all right, and then they were like, made a comment of basically, he looked so good last week when y'all were in here.
Mm.
And I was just kind of like, why would they have been in there last week?
Okay. They had some conversations, financial.
I don't know.
Conversation or
It probably
something
means
like that.
nothing.
Maybe not.
But
Again, typically my dad, like if she would have went over there to do something short of him needing a signature or something of that nature,
I think they were getting his power of attorney.
Maybe.
He had to sign that, so he was there to sign that, is what I think
maybe,
happened.
and it could have been. But typically, yeah, she would have went over there by herself without question.
Is there
She wouldn't have
anything
done
odd in the legal proceedings so far? To where she's stood to benefit from anything that's been changed?
No, we
or
don't know.
happened, or
that. We don't know.
you
I know
don't
she's
yet?
$80,000 in credit card debt.
Okay.
She shared that with me about 3 weeks ago and didn't know what to do. And I was like, I don't know what to tell you to do. Except to maybe file for bankruptcy or something like that.
Okay.
But you guys have, yeah, because it's very odd, because my dad typically kept a lot of his finances kind of to himself. I don't know how much of that they shared, and then she kind of had hers, and then when her mother passed away, she left a decent amount of money, I don't know any amount, but from my understanding, a decent amount of money to her.
Okay.
So she, would spend, do whatever. And my dad always kind of just, his whole life has just been, and he's always been hush-hush about it, one thing and another. And, yeah, I just,
I got you.
I don't know where that ended up, but we don't know.
She did show up to our house frantic 2 weeks ago with him. Like, I'm just having a bad day with him. I just need to be here.
Yeah.
And, you know, I don't know what happened that night. She just said he was having a bad day, and she was like, I don't want to drink. I don't want to drink. I just want to be here with you guys. And we were like, okay, that's fine.
Okay.
But she's never done that before, but that was
Okay.
about 2 weeks ago.
Did she elaborate on what was going on with that?
She said he was just kind of having a bad day, but when he was there with us, he was fine.
Okay.
Time he got there.
Probably means
Could
nothing.
be marital issue, you know,
Yeah.
could be just stress or
Stressful
stimulated.
day.
It could have been on
something.
he was sundowners, it could have
Sure.
been that, and he was on the loop, and it was driving him crazy, so
Gotcha.
instead of drinking, she chose to come to our house, which we were grateful that she did
Sure,
that.
absolutely.
So, but she was just really
That was
weird
the
that
first.
night still, just kind of real wired, and I don't know what happened, of course, because we weren't, you know, all we can go off is what she told us,
I got you.
so,
You know, with her, and like I told you, with her retaining an attorney, that's well within her rights to do, and it doesn't necessarily, to me, show that she is guilty in any way. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's just someone
Right.
that's just making sure with the gravity of the situation that she's taken care of and represented properly, so.
Right.
Don't let that kind of bother you too terribly bad, you know
yeah,
what
'cause
I
that
mean?
kind of did bug me a little bit.
I don't blame you, you
Because I would have been
know.
like, just go down there and tell him what happened if it was.
Everyone's a
It
little
still
different.
bugs me,
Yeah.
that and the refusal to take, you know, a lie detector. That for whatever reason, that really bugs me because again, if you were legit, even, you know, if you brought an attorney in, I definitely see that or could see that. But if you're telling the truth, investigators are gonna be able to weed through that.
Yes, sir.
Clearly. And so it's like, there's really nothing to fear.
Yeah,
But worst case, it'd be like a slap on,
understand.
but it would be my, you know, but it's just, I don't know.
I'm with you.
A lot
And
of
that-
things don't sit right.
And again, that's why I asked the hard questions, you know, and regardless of how this turns out, I hope you understand why I had to ask the hard questions to her and push her in the manner that I did.
no, that's,
All
yeah.
things considered, sometimes the job looks rough because of that, when I have to
Right.
kind of, I don't want to be, you know, be accusatory, but at least make sure that there's not inconsistencies and see how
Right.
our reactions are to some of these things, asking like a lie detector, and that does give us some insight, but as we've also spoke, people under trauma and things like that, they behave different, and, you know, they're worried, and this 2024, the year of information and TV, and,
Yeah.
you know, so.
All the above.
Yeah.
My goal, and I've already spoke with the district attorney on this case and kind of made him aware of the circumstances surrounding it. I would like to collect any evidence that could be helpful in this.
Mhm.
So I don't know, did she get rid of the phone, his phone by chance?
We have
We
it.
have it.
You guys have it?
Yes,
Do you have
sir.
it with you by chance?
Do not have it with me, but I have it on my nightstand.
If you're willing, I may get that phone from you, just to make sure. And I
Sure.
looked through her phone the other night,
Yes,
just to
yeah.
kind of confirm. I didn't see a need at the time
Right.
to take her phone, and I didn't really want to upset her in a manner considering everything that's going on, you know,
Right.
to keep her from cooperating. So his phone, again, I would doubt there'd be much to it, but I think it would be a good idea to at least
Yeah.
take a look through it, make sure. I don't know if they communicate through text or call, or if him and his wife did that.
I don't think so.
I don't
Because
think
he didn't
so.
know how to use it.
I believe
She
that.
might have used it to research
Not a whole lot,
stuff
right.
maybe, but
Maybe,
to keep
but-
it off her phone, I
That
don't
might
know.
be something you guys can look through as well.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Take a look,
Yep.
just see, but at the same time,
Curious, like any pictures or anything.
That was
Yeah,
what we
you
were
don't know.
worried about, but yeah, she was gonna throw it in the garbage.
Just gonna-
yeah, so.
I mean, it just doesn't.
And we
make
can do a
sense.
full extraction on it as well.
Okay, that'd be
You know,
fine.
to double check everything with it, just to make sure there's nothing been deleted off of it. And beyond that, the DA's made aware, so our goal is get through the autopsy, double check some things as best we can. I'm gonna try to find a way to sit down with her. I'm gonna call her myself here in a little bit, just see if she's willing, whether she wants to bring her attorney or not, it's fine. But we've gotta try to hash out some more,
Yeah,
you know, and she's in a better state of mind for it.
Right.
Right. And then along the process, I'll have the DA kind of cooperating with me, and when a decision's made regardless, I'd like to sit back down with you guys again and
Right.
let you guys know kind of, hey, this is what we've come to.
Okay.
You know what I mean? This is what the
Yeah, I
DA
think
feels
that's been
like.
your
This is,
biggest concern.
this is what our facts have led us to believe, and this is how we're gonna move forward so that we can at least keep you guys in the loop.
Absolutely.
Whether it be for closure, whether it be just for what have you.
yeah.
Okay?
I mean, yeah, she's, I don't know, I'm nervous about how she's gonna react to things.
I understand it. And that's why I'm doing my very best not to
I know,
push you in a direction to where you feel like there's some hostility there.
I mean, just, I'm afraid if she thinks we're against her or something, I told him, I'm like, I'm afraid of like, almost like a retaliation kind of
Well,
thing.
shut down and, yeah, I mean, just, might be vindictive at that point.
Yeah.
So that's what we're trying to prevent.
I'm trying to be supportive. I mean, I'm not trying to, I'm on the fence about what happened, just because
Yeah.
I've seen her be ugly to us.
We wasn't there, we just know things don't line up
Yes, sir.
at all. Like nothing, not even the slightest little bit.
And the
None of
way
that
she's
makes
acting
any
now doesn't
sense.
make any sense either. It
Zero
just,
sense. And that's the thing, I just want to know the truth.
And those are-
accountability for it.
And again, if you guys talk to her, you know what I mean? And you guys continue just to kind of get a feel for what's going on and try to make sense of this. You know, if there's something that pops up that's just odd, please let me know. Give me
Okay.
a call, you know what I mean? And say, hey, look, she mentioned this in passing or what have you. I'm still, big things I'm trying to sort out, and hopefully I can do so in talking to her, is why there was an extra spent shell casing in the right, in the boot. Where in proximity they were to each other when the shot went off, how she was manipulating the gun. Was it from her pulling the trigger? Was it from her pulling the hammer back?
Right.
A revolver is
feel like
finicky.
that's
Sometimes
changed,
you let the revolver go halfway, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
It could strike a gun in a heartbeat. And then beyond that, if there's anything else that occurred right after the fact, what kind of care she tried to give.
that's what I'm
Who actually
concerned
got
about
the
too.
gun, who
'Cause-
got the ammunition, who loaded the gun, who loaded the
Right.
ammunition. Those things are important to me, and they help paint a picture, whether it be on her behalf or maybe to show that there was some criminality involved.
Yeah.
So-
Well, something too, what I was thinking too is about the ammunition. As far as I know, I went through, got all the guns and everything out. And same thing with ammunition, that kind of stuff. To my knowledge, all the ammunition was out. Now, the one question I had is something that struck me the other day was like purchasing habits. Like Dad would be one of those, if he bought 22 ammunition, he would buy the cheapest thing
Okay.
out there,
Yes,
He's like,
sir.
he ain't gonna spend money, But now she's very high end.
Okay.
So, if she went in, she probably would say, if she bought some, give me the best thing out there for the most part and stuff. And so that might be something as well, because to my knowledge, I don't know of any ammunition I didn't pick up.
Okay. There was a small box, I can tell you, the gun itself, we believe, was retrieved from the bottom chest of drawers that was in that master bedroom.
Right.
There was a holster, a leather holster in there.
Right.
There was like
Right.
a puzzle box.
Goes with it, right?
I think that belonged to your dad or something.
Yes,
You
sir.
kind of like open it up, just contained like a pin in it. And there was a box of ammunition in that same drawer as well.
Did the box look new?
It
Because
did.
all of
It looked relatively new.
Because all of those boxes, I mean, I couldn't tell you last time we bought ammunition. I
He
think
would-
it's
he
anything I
wouldn't
took
have
out was
bought it. He
old
doesn't-
school.
I couldn't
stuff.
give you, it did not look like it was weathered
Well,
or
he
super
hasn't been able to
old.
drive in over a year.
Yeah.
He
So
or
depending on the
longer.
ammunition, that might be just.
got lost a couple of years ago, so we had to take his keys away, and
Yeah.
she sold his car.
So, but again, he would not have purchased ammunition, that's the thing.
And there was another bag, like a plastic bag that had some loose bullets in it,
Right.
which goes more in line with kind of what,
That
just
would be
random,
more what
That would be if he found any.
just random
Right.
bullets just in a bag that somebody
Right.
had put in there. And then we also found a bullet by itself on the foot of the bed.
Mhm.
Okay.
Out of the chamber, just by itself, a full unspent round. It was actually, I don't know if it's like a little table or a sitting area right at the foot of the bed.
Oh, yeah, I
With
know
some
what you're
clothes
saying.
and stuff,
So
where
it
I
must
found
makes
a
you
bullet.
wonder if they didn't dump some on the bed and then load it.
So it does line up potentially that way. And then
Right.
even on top of the chest of drawers, there's a plastic, I don't know, it was like an old cassette holder or something up there, some kind of organizer, maybe a
Right.
pill organizer. And it actually had one bullet in there too, a loose freestanding bullet, 22 bullet.
So,
That kind of sounds like something you'd have to.
yeah. probably
If he
hide
found it, he would put it up.
So
like
I
Put
that.
it up, yeah, maybe.
Maybe
But-
somebody, and again, trying to piece it together,
You're
without
right.
good conversation with them. But just trying to understand, all right, so did they pull the gun out and they pull the ammunition to work on figuring out how to load it? Little
Right.
bullets sometimes fall, kind of get.
Or did they get a
dropped.
handful, dump them on the bed, and then load it that way?
Very well could have been.
Or it just happened to be one too many? I don't know.
I
That's
don't know.
weird.
So we're trying to sort it, and then if that's the case, if they loaded the gun,
And she knows it was
she
loaded.
or him, why were there two spent casings in the weapon?
Oh, true,
You
yeah.
know what I mean, instead of just one?
Yep, where'd that go?
So there's just some odd things I'm trying to
So
piece out with you
strange.
guys, and normally I don't divulge as much to my investigation to people involved, but as family, I feel like you're entitled to at least know where my headspace is.
Right.
With the facts of the cases, I know them to be,
Appreciate
and the
that.
questions I'm trying to answer in case something spurs on you guys over
Sure,
time.
yeah.
Oh yeah, maybe she had mentioned this, or that night she did mention something like this, I need to let him know.
Yeah. She, you know, she's pretty adamant she only had a glass and a half of wine. And so either she's lying about that or she wasn't that intoxicated.
You know, when it comes to intoxication in my line of work, you know, intoxication can mean several different
Yeah,
things.
just-
There's
right.
people who cannot talk to you and, you know, form complete sentences. Then there's people who probably shouldn't be driving, maybe under the legal limit,
Right.
but smell of alcohol and maybe not so bad off, but can hold a good conversation. My opinion, just in talking to her, she held a conversation fine, but I don't know how much of, you know, her.
Kind of tolerance.
Yeah, and I don't know, like, when she was speaking to me, I don't know if she got confused. I don't know if it's because of the trauma of just what just happened.
Yeah.
Or a mix of that and some alcohol.
Well, that's what I was kind of worried about.
Or a
She
lot of
used the
alcohol.
excuse of,
Right, so.
well, I was too drunk. And I don't think she was that drunk. You know, and I would think,
She told me a glass and a half of wine. What did she say she was
She's-
drunk about?
what, no, I'm just saying in general, I was just worried that she'd be like, well, I was intoxicated. I don't know what I was doing. You know, and I know she was having good conversations with me. She might have been, like you said, a little wired, but I don't think she was intoxicated to the point where she blacked out and don't remember what she did.
No, but you guys know as well as I do. I mean, any alcohol and handling a firearm is a terrible
idea.
You know what I
Right.
mean? Like,
Yeah.
every inhibition and good judgment starts to slowly go out the window, even with the first sip. So,
Yeah, exactly, that's true.
Especially when you got tannerites.
yes.
Yeah, it's bad.
Yes, sir. So that's kind of the plan. I'm hoping to get a call about the autopsy. The GBI is backed up pretty far, as you
Our
can
did closed a
imagine.
couple of days last week.
And then it's
so
the snow they're catching up on, and I don't know if you
Right.
guys have spoke with the coroner of Stapleton.
I did. Well, I spoke with Hancock.
Hancock, super nice guy,
Right.
and they will keep you guys in the loop as well as I will as
Right.
well if you need anything. But hopefully by the end of this week, and maybe beginning of next week, we can schedule that autopsy. I will go to it as well and speak with the medical examiner, ask some questions about what they find. Then you guys will be able to move on with preparations for your father. And then my investigation will just proceed until I reach a point where I can't go any further, and then we'll make some decisions there.
Okay, we do have a cruise planned mid-February
Okay.
that she's supposed to go on,
Okay.
just so you're aware of that.
Thank you for that. And I am happy to work around anything you guys have to do. Don't let that impact
Okay.
you. And I'm not gonna force you guys, even if for a follow-up or something, I can't see us coming back together unless I just have something brand new pop up that I
Right.
need
Sure.
clarification on.
Yeah,
And so
okay.
some of those things we might be able to answer on the phone.
Sure.
But I just wanted to, again, understand what she told you guys right after, maybe what she said since, and then your understanding of her and her behavior with your dad, what his condition was like, and the circumstances around the gun. And you guys have answered that great for me today.
Okay.
So is there anything else that you guys might be able to provide to me
Thank you.
to help me in this?
Before, you know, the autopsy and everything like that comes back, is there, there's no way to ask this without sounding bad, I don't
It's
think it would
okay.
be that bad, but will she be incarcerated up to that point? That's a
So-
big thing we're getting from the family, but also it's again, I'm doing everything I can, I know she is too, to basically even be in her presence. And so anyway, and I know that's kind of out there, a lot of family members are curious on that too.
So given her age
Right.
and her situation, I'm not inclined, even if, you know, so an arrest is made with probable cause exists.
Right.
You know, a
Right.
reasonable person believes that a crime has been committed. And
Right.
in our early stages of investigation, trying to jump the gun at any point.
Right.
You know what I mean? Even more so because of her age and where she is. I don't feel like she's a flight risk or a danger right now or anything like that. So I'd rather not even go down that road, even if I was right on the edge. But as we stand right now, I'm just going to continue with the investigation. And if I find that, yep, you know, we reach a point where I'm confident, you know, that probable cause does exist, and I'm at a good point in the investigation where I don't think it's going to hink anything up.
Right.
I'll probably give her a call and work with her to turn herself in.
Okay.
You know, as for what happens to her after that, depending on her criminal history, what a judge might decide if she's arrested, they may give her a bond, they may not. I
Right.
don't know. how that normally works. But
Right.
as it stands, I think we're a pretty good ways out from that. I'm gonna have to,
Okay.
talk with the district attorney on it and really try to plan out a meeting with her and her lawyer or her or whatever the case is to try to rehash some of this stuff.
Right.
I'd rather do that before I base everything off of her initial statements.
Okay.
So, and the autopsy might give me some insight as well.
I'm hoping so. I'm hoping that either opens or
Yeah.
shuts a lot of doors. I
So-
really, my man I know for the family, we just want this thing to be as quick as possible so we can all
Right.
kind of move on. And with it lingering, I
Yes,
know
sir.
that's the biggest questions everybody got. Like, is she getting arrested or is she out? Is it kind of where's this? And my thing too is, with that cruise, because I can't go on a cruise, but I want it.
Yeah.
And you guys may have to make that decision.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Regardless, I can tell you this, if it's middle of February, I would say there's probably less than 25% chance we'll come to a decision by then,
Right.
if that helps you.
No, yeah.
Does that make sense? Because
Yeah.
normally these
gonna be a
investigations are going to
process.
take some time.
Absolutely.
I'd rather be very
Absolutely.
thorough
Yeah.
before I disrupt your family and everything else with whatever decision that we have. So
Okay.
if that helps you with your cruise planning,
Yeah.
go about it any way you need to.
Would she still need to go on it?
She'd be fine too.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
okay.
Unless you feel like she's going to catch a plane somewhere out in
I don't think
Mexico
so.
or
I just didn't know if she'd be
something.
allowed to leave the country.
No, there's nothing that we're going to hold any restrictions on.
She
It really
really
doesn't
does.
say that.
Yeah.
You know?
That'd be like, hey, I that one off kind of quick.
That's more or less some
Yeah.
TV stuff. We'd get her. Don't worry.
Okay.
But again,
I don't, like I said, I don't know if we will still go because of
I
that.
understand.
My kids don't want to be around her, so
I got
it'll be
you.
really hard to spend a whole week on a cruise ship with her,
Yeah.
so.
Are there any other questions I can answer
Don't
for you
think
guys
so.
on this case or anything you guys can think of? And please don't hesitate. You still have my card.
I do.
It's got my desk line on it. Call me directly. If I don't answer, I'm away from it. Just leave me a voicemail. They go straight to my cell phone wherever I am. I'm happy to answer any questions as they
Sure.
pop up. And
Yep.
any kind of information that you guys get in the meantime, please let me know.
Okay.
And we'll add it to our investigation, okay?
Okay, sounds good.
I appreciate
Thank
you
you
guys.
so much.
Yep. I'll
Appreciate
get
it.
you guys back down.
The next day, James's daughter Tonya Agan Wilson, her husband Perry Wilson, and their daughter Brittany are all brought in for a formal peace interview.
Y'all have a seat. Relax for a second.
Thank you.
All right, so you guys haven't talked to her until today, or
Well-
you mentioned maybe over the phone.
The
What is your
night
name
that-
for me, ma'am?
Tonya Wilson, but I am,
His daughter.
And you're,
The
can I
victim's
call him
phone.
Jim, is that okay? Just so we can kind of
Yes.
differentiate between him and his son.
Yes.
Well, he went by Jim or Jimmy.
I thought, yeah,
Yeah.
I'd heard that before.
Mhm.
Okay, so you spoke to her, to Ann, that night?
Yes, the night that this happened, and, the version she gave me that night was, because I let her do the talking, I didn't ask questions, she just got on there saying, your dad and I were kind of going back and forth and arguing. He's giving me a hard time about taking a shower.
Yes, ma'am.
And she said, she said he'd been wanting to show me how to load the weapon, my
Okay.
weapon. And I said, okay. And she said, well, we loaded it. And she said, I had it cocked back. And she said, and I pointed it at him. And she said, and I pulled the trigger. I said, okay, so you pulled the trigger. And, and she said, yes. And had no emotion. She had no sympathetic, even today, it was just like, there was just
It was like
nothing
she was
there.
just
It was
like,
just
eh.
like,
So she told you
Yes.
over the phone that she was arguing with him about getting in the shower.
Yes.
And that he wanted to show her how to operate this gun.
yes,
And she was manipulating the gun,
yes.
and she pulled the trigger.
And she pulled the
Did she
trigger.
mention anything in the middle of it? Like, was she just said she pulled the trigger while she was messing with the gun and it went
I
off?
guess,
Did she
yes.
say, did she know if it was loaded?
She never said that.
Okay.
She never said, and so, from there, I don't know,
Yes, ma'am.
and so that was kind of the
What you
extent,
got in
but
the
she,
initial.
and I'm thinking, I never asked her, but I'm thinking in my head, why would you even put your finger on a trigger?
Yes,
You know
ma'am.
what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
And I can tell you, although my daddy had progressed stage dementia, my daddy has never been one to take firearms lightly.
And I've
okay.
heard that from your
He
son as
has
well.
been, he's always been safety first, you know what I mean?
Yes, ma'am.
You never pointed at someone, you never, even in a house, you make sure you're, in an open space. There's just so many things that Daddy had even taught us, and I have a military background, he had and my brother had a military background. But Daddy was always, about anything, safety is first, particularly weaponry. And I've never known my daddy to even have a handgun. Like he's had 22 rifles.
Yes, ma'am.
But, and we would go out to his parents, back years ago and fire them there,
Yes,
but
ma'am.
And make sure your weapons are on safety. Make sure, he's a stickler. He's always been like that. So for him to even entertain anything with a weapon inside the home, I can tell you that doesn't add up to my father
Yes, ma'am.
at all.
Now, there were several weapons. I know James, your brother, told me that there were other guns, rifles, and things in the house, and that he ended up getting out of the house. Were you aware of that?
Yes. And I thought all the weapons were.
I think he did too.
I was just shocked that there was even a weapon. So in my mind, I'm like, well, did she go back? Because a few years ago, she got on this kick about she needed a weapon. She needed a weapon.
Yes, ma'am.
And at the time, she was in full-blown addiction with pills and with alcohol.
Okay.
Okay, so I absolutely said I do not agree with that. I think that's just gonna, because she has a very volatile temper, and when I tell you a volatile temper, I mean she can go from
flip.
0 to 90.
We'll get to that. I'd like to
minutes.
hear about that as well.
So
At this point, when she was interested in the guns and all, is this
Yes.
about the time your dad started
well,
fighting dementia?
he's been for like five years
5
or
to
so.
6 years, but it's just gotten progressively worse over the last few years.
Yes.
And the way he was some days was in a childlike mind
Yeah.
here recently. I mean,
Yeah, it's to the point up to today that like he was forgetting who we were, and there'd be times he wouldn't even remember who Ann was.
Okay.
He just thought it was some woman staying in his house, you know what I mean? And and he come and stayed with us a few months back, and he wouldn't sleep, and it's just like every 5 minutes it was like a new thing,
Yes,
it's
ma'am.
just and so I realized that it's hard dealing with that. But just so you know,
Yes, ma'am.
knowing how Ann has her little, anxiety quirks, drinking, I have always said, look, if you need a break,
Yeah.
a phone call, I will come get Daddy, I'll bring him here, I'll, deal with it,
Yeah.
or I'll come there and stay, let you step away.
Yes, ma'am.
But just don't ever, be quick to put him somewhere,
Sure.
keep him at home,
I understand.
that's where, and he relies on you because she was like his safety
Yeah.
net, I guess, in a way, because that's what your wife or your spouse should do.
Yes, ma'am.
That's the role they should be responsible for.
Yes, ma'am.
But Ann is a very selfish individual,
Okay.
and she's always been that way ever since I've known her. But I never thought that it would come to something quite like this.
Yes,
And
this extreme. This is very extreme.
yeah, and she has friends in Texas that she grew up with,
Mhm.
and we brought her mother here from Texas back, was 2017 or
Around
something
about
like that.
2017, 2018.
And I took care of her mother for her. She was not very nice even to her mother. Like, she was very aggressive.
And you
Mimi-
could tell when, Ann walked in the room, Mimi, would shut down
And
almost.
tense up.
And tense up.
My daddy's moods would do the similar thing. When Ann wasn't around, it's like he was more relaxed.
Okay.
But the minute she steps in the room, it's like you get a little different version.
He gets a little more
That's good.
agitated and antsy, and, it's just
Just an obvious change.
Yes, it's a
Yes.
totally different change. And it wasn't all the time, but it was a lot of the time, especially if it was something where she got upset
Mhm.
or, you know, started kind of having
Getting
a little bit of an
loud
attitude or
and-
getting loud
Mhm.
with
Yes, ma'am.
somebody, his whole demeanor would change.
And her drinking
And that is something
her,
that,
her throwing things and stuff like that.
Yeah, she
Yeah,
was.
so I was gonna ask on that,
Really bad.
I know I'd heard, and I'd like to hear from y'all on her anger management and her impatience and things, anything that you've noticed, but specifically first, have you noticed her mistreat Jim at all? Did you ever know of any incidents where there's, and I use the word abuse, so it simplifies what I'm looking for, or just to see if that's occurring, but anything else as well? Have you ever seen her
Well, I
just get?
seen her walk 100 and something feet in front of him. We was getting off a cruise ship, and they didn't even look back, and he's dementia.
he
you
was
know.
actively having those issues, you know, and she would just kind of walk off and leave him like she just
Yeah.
didn't care.
Okay.
I mean, not even look back. And
I
so
don't-
we was in line trying to get out.
Right.
Me and
And
her
I-
coming off the cruise ship. I said,
I
look
don't-
there.
I don't know that there was ever like, you know, bruises or anything like that on him.
Yes.
It would be more of a
Oh, I think he's
mental,
had bruises, hadn't he?
mental and emotional type thing with him. Like I say, with his demeanor just changing like at the drop of a hat with her. He'll be one person without her in the room. As soon as she walks in, some days it's totally, like I say, it's a totally different thing.
But
And
her friends that she grew up with, what I was gonna tell you is that, one of them's name is Luann
Okay,
Huff Sims, and she, called me in her camper. We was out at the lake and we took her mom had passed away, and we took her back to Texas to lay her to rest with her dad. And, she called me in the camper, Luann did, and she was like, look, and this was kind of when Daddy was, you know, in the more, he's beginning to get a little more fragile with
Gotcha.
things. And she told me, be careful with Ann and with your dad. She said, if you ever notice any like bruises or anything, she said, you know, inquire. She said,
Okay.
because apparently she had been very confrontational in a drunken state with Luann before, and
Yes, ma'am.
actually had put her hands
Put
on
hands
her.
on her.
Right. And I don't know if Nicolette had told you, my sister-in-law, but she's been very physical with her.
She did tell me that, yes.
And Ann knows who to do that with, and because she ain't never done it with me.
well, you know, she had that incident with Madeline too. At
Yes.
her son's
This
house.
has just happened a couple of months ago.
Yeah, the granddaughter.
Where she threw something at her?
I don't know,
No,
but
that was
apparently
They
it
were
was,
in Atlanta at her son's house, and I think she might have threw something at her, but I'm not 100% if
went
that was
into-
it. She went into a rage, and my Uncle David had to go get her.
they had to
James.
get her out of the situation because she
And I
was
think
just.
that they told me
Okay,
about
yeah.
that.
Mhm.
But and just honestly, I mean, be honest with me, but I mean, you said there might be some bruises on them, but have you guys had any kind of report of anything specific with her involving
I haven't.
James or Jim?
No.
Nothing that you
no.
guys know of, at least.
Well,
Yeah.
Jim wouldn't know either, because he could,
I know,
no, he-
with the dementia.
that bad.
And
I mean,
that's
I mean,
unfortunate.
we've had him, we've watched him while she's gone out of town. She goes for 7
She
days.
just freely goes. Like she
Yeah, goes.
has no, you know, she
Yeah.
was just travel. Like it was no regard on what's going on with him, how he's feeling, you know,
Gotcha.
what he may think about going and staying in somebody else's house or somebody else. Because there's been times where they would go stay with him at their home
Mhm.
just to kind of keep him at home. But then after, you know, a day or so, he's like, y'all need to go.
I
Like,
stayed with him for a full month there while we sent her to rehab.
yeah.
For the drinking and the pill addiction, and then for a while she was on whatever that shot is to keep her.
Suboxone or
Yeah,
Okay.
but she came off of that. She said that the therapist said she didn't, you know, need to do that anymore. And so she went back into drinking. Now she says that she's not doing the pills too, which great, but still the alcohol's
I
an
mean,
issue for her.
That night, do y'all think she was on pills too or taking something else?
It's hard to tell.
Did
I
we do
spoke
a
to her.
toxicology of
Not
any
on
sort?
her, not on her, no, not at the time. She definitely was drinking, and there was an odor of alcoholic beverage emitting from
So
her.
is there a reason we didn't do the blood work or blood draw, or I mean,
Considering the circumstances, I think a lot of it was trying to keep her cooperative. So
Okay.
that, you know, one, she just lost her husband, regardless of the facts. She was upset about that. She had been drinking. So a lot of our goal in that moment was, one, rendering aid to your
Yes.
dad, but also trying to keep her cooperative, willing to talk to me so that we can kind of understand what's going on. and those preliminary things that we're
Was
doing.
my
I'm
daddy
going
still
through.
alive when you got there?
Not me. They had already taken him to Tanner, but the officers that got there were working on him, and the paramedics and
So he was
firefighters.
still alive?
And I did get 911 calls. He was still alive. Ann was very upset, begging for people to get there as soon as possible. Definitely in line with someone trying to get her husband help.
Okay.
And he was shallow breathing, and when they got there, he went unconscious before the law enforcement arrived and medical help, and then they were just trying to work on him as best they could. When he left the house to go to Tanner, he was critical but still alive. And I believe he passed while he was at Tanner.
At Tanner or in the ambulance?
At Tanner,
Okay.
I believe. Don't hold me to that one, but I believe it was actually at Tanner. So they were doing everything they could. And in those moments, a lot of the time, family will go to the hospital with them. She stayed at the house, whether it was to talk with us or to assist us in what we were doing. And I was able to ask some questions then, but preliminary questions. I pushed a little bit in some areas I felt comfortable doing just to make sure things were lining up. But my goal was to let her be sober the next day and to be able to get a full statement. And she
never gave it.
She had decided that she wanted to retain an attorney, which is well within her right to do. But again, so I've been unable to rehash some of the things she told me, to compare what she told initial responding officers, what she told family, and figure out which pieces maybe she's not remembering quite perfectly because of the traumatic incident, to maybe what might be embellished, to what might be true, not true, and those things. So now I have to piece that together in situations like this with you guys, other family that she spoke to, and then go back and listen to our interviews as well as with officers to try to
So
determine.
another question I have is, I've heard she didn't have any blood on her. So, what's the deal with that? Like, I mean, if you just accidentally shot your husband and you care about that person, are you not going to, I mean, I don't know because I've never been in this situation, but are you not going to, hold on, if you don't know how to do anything, or what? I mean, what's the deal with that? Like, I don't understand.
I can't answer that exactly because I wasn't there to know what happened. I can tell you this, there wasn't a profuse amount of blood. It was a very small, bullet that went through.
Right, and I understand that.
Most of the blood was underneath him. I think eventually, the best I can tell, and we're still piecing this together, is that either he was sitting on the bed or standing. Once he was shot, he definitely was sitting on the bed, on the edge of the bed, and then kind of fell backwards on it. And that blood in the crime scene does appear to be the same way, where he probably fell back, and that blood was kind of pulling underneath him.
Okay.
When the officers got there, he was still on the bed. Okay, so he hadn't been rolled or moved, and 911 calls show that Ann was trying to wake him up, begging for him to come back, wake up, what have you, while she's talking to 911, begging for the police to get there. So as for why she wasn't covered in blood, it would have been hard for her to have blood on her unless she was physically able to
That's what I'm just saying, like,
roll him over or
Did
maneuver
she
him.
touch him,
She was definitely touching him, but I don't
Like-
think there was nothing that would have
Okay.
transmitted blood on her.
I was just curious. That was just a thought that I had.
Please ask, and I'll answer as best I can. But a lot of this is kind of, we're piecing together from the crime scene as well as the statements and stories that we're getting. But yeah, I'll be honest, that's not peculiar to me in this specific incident, just because of the way the injury was. There was blood on the bed, of course, and on his clothing, but it was not, typical for a very big shooting scene that a lot of people are covered in blood. To the fact that the gun, I don't believe the gun actually even had any blowback on it, at least currently that we can tell. Sometimes if a gun's fired at very close range, sometimes there'll be blowback onto the weapon or onto hands and things, and none of that was consistent. Again, could be because of the small caliber, distance-wise, a multitude of things can cause that. So she wasn't, but again, our goal was to keep her cooperative at the time. She let me look through her phone, of course, work the scene of the crime without any issue there, and to collect whatever we needed to collect. And our goal was to talk to her when she's had time to process. And a lot of times with people with traumatic events, things are happening too fast for them to recall perfectly. So we try to give a day or so to kind of let people breathe, remember what's happened so that we can get a good statement. But, she retained an attorney, which is fine. I was hoping to make a meet with her and the attorney emailed me yesterday, actually while I was speaking with your brother and his wife and said that they weren't gonna come in for a follow-up.
And she said that they were, she was hoping he was gonna call her today when
Who's
we
that?
were there at the house.
And
The attorney.
Ann said she was hoping the attorney was gonna call her
Yes, ma'am.
today, so.
So, and I can't really just reach out to her anymore. There's still some things I've
Right.
gotta do in my investigation that we're
But
still
you're kinda
kinda in the
stuck with
pipe.
her.
I'm not stuck, but I'm stuck with whatever else maybe I can clarify that
Right.
has occurred. And, you know, she has the best side of the story, if she was willing to give it, to explain what exactly happened. And I did get a piece of that, or a good amount at the scene, but some questions for you guys if you're willing.
Sure.
Kind of explained her behavior, you know, and I know she has a drinking problem and some anger issues. Back on the gun, when you mentioned that she was interested in getting a gun, did you know if she bought a gun by chance?
all I know, because had no hand in that, because I was not even on board with that idea,
Yes, ma'am.
is that David had took her, my brother had took her, and they went to, I guess, the range out here, and, because it was, he wanted her to get something that, you know, as a woman, you know,
Yes, ma'am.
right. And he wanted her to have some practice with firing it to kind of see, and I think they maybe did that a few times.
Okay.
But I can't swear to, you know,
Understood. That's fine.
anything else.
So can't y'all look up with the gun, like when it was purchased with the serial number?
Sure,
you
and
know,
that'll
stuff
all be
like
done.
that?
It'll be sent
Okay.
to NIB for that
But as
specific
far
gun.
as what kind, I never knew what she ended up, because I don't, you know, I just was never in agreement with that.
So that's what, when your brother talked to me, he mentioned that she had purchased a .380 and he had witnessed her handling the gun pretty unsafe, you know,
It
like.
seems like
He said that
maybe
she actually pulled the gun and had her finger on the
But
trigger.
I feel like
You
some
know,
of that
he
may
was like,
be,
gotta get these.
I feel like some of that may be for show, because, you know, common sense tells you how to control a gun, whether you've had that, you know, training with a gun or not.
Mhm.
You know, so, you know, was she just putting on a show with certain things?
I don't know.
Or if was it truly her just being dumb to knowing what's going on?
I don't know the answer to that, you know.
And I don't either,
We
because
can
I've
only
never
speculate,
seen
but
her.
I mean, and I know, I'm just saying, like,
Yes, ma'am.
is that just her trying to play dumb
I don't
with
know.
certain things?
But in that moment, your brother said that he decided then, especially with, you know, y'all's dad having dementia and her kind of unsafe handling of the gun, that's
Well,
when he
and the
determined.
drinking,
And the drinking.
and the
He
volatile
determined to try to
behavior.
get all those guns out.
And
of
I
the house.
knew he did that,
Okay.
because I told him, I said, Daddy's got a little .22 rifle upstairs.
Mhm.
I said, you need to make sure that you acquire that, because, you know, I just didn't, like I said. And so when all this came up, even today, as I'm going through my daddy's stuff, because I handled primarily the bedroom with his clothing and things, we asked, after we got done with the closet, we asked about
I asked if there was any drawers that he had stuff in, and she said, yeah, these two right here. You can go ahead.
Mhm.
Because I asked about that.
there was a, I guess the holster for, that, it was a leather holster,
Yes, ma'am.
and a box of the 22 bullets. But then in the closet, when we was at, there was an ammo can, or an ammo thing, and it was full of just from random bullets, which
Yes, ma'am.
may have not been abnormal for my daddy to have had them kind of in the closet.
They were on
but-
his side of the closet, so.
But I asked her, I said, we're not keeping these, are we? And she said, no. So I sent them with my brother, because he does have some weapons.
Yes, ma'am.
And so they're out of the house, but she insisted on keeping the holster
And the bullets.
Okay.
for that in there. So
This is after the fact. I
yes,
got
this is today.
Gotcha.
Okay, so just so you know that they're there, but you know.
And we collected a box of bullets, the 22 bullets that were in that same drawer. We saw the leather holster that was in there.
In that bottom drawer of
Sure
that
did.
dresser,
Yes,
okay.
ma'am.
So,
We sure did.
so you know, which I knew y'all had gotten the
ma'am.
weapon, so.
But we saw the bullets too. There was also a bullet that was, I don't mind telling y'all, there was a random loose bullet, a 22 bullet on top of that same dresser. It was just sitting in like
Yeah,
a.
we didn't look on top of the dresser
We've
because
already
it was like
collected it. These are just
personal
things
stuff of
that were on the
hers.
scene, as well as a bullet that was had fell off the bed, it appears. Maybe
So they had him on the bed.
I guess so, and that's what I'm trying to, again, I wish I could understand when the gun got loaded, if it was already loaded.
That's what I'm saying, like, some of that just don't make sense
Oh.
if you say you don't know if the gun's loaded, but you've got bullets laying on the side of the
I
bed.
don't know.
Like-
There was also, and I wish I could ask her, and that's just kind of where I'm going with this, is one, did you know that she had or he had that revolver?
No, I
Okay.
didn't.
And I think your brother knew, but thought maybe you had grabbed it when they were pulling all the guns out. There was just some confusion. I don't think they would have allowed the gun in the house if they knew
And,
that was
and
in
the
the
only
No,
house.
we
one
would
that,
have.
the
Right,
only
so-
one that I was even aware of that she had purchased was whichever one, when she made that one purchase, you know,
Okay.
which if that was the 380, then that's not a 380,
It's
so I
not.
don't know where it came from.
It's probably your dad's. Probably just didn't realize he had that little
Right,
revolver
and that's
as
what
well.
I'm saying, like, because Daddy was never one to just, you know, I mean,
understand.
weapons were just not something that you play with. You don't, you know, if you don't know what you're doing, you leave it alone until someone that with experience,
Yes, ma'am.
but even still, it's safety first. So for my daddy to be to this point in the dementia, I can tell you without a shadow of a doubt, none of that part lines up.
I understand.
And I'm gonna tell you, my daddy can't remember what he did 2 minutes ago. And my husband can tell you that, you know, from him being at our house just like
So that's,
recently.
that just don't make
Yeah.
sense that
So
he was
none of
showing her how
that
to do that.
Is, I mean, it's not true.
Her
I'm
saying
just
that
saying, it's
they had
not
talked about
true.
the gun all day long.
It's not
He
true.
can't even remember
There's no
walking
way.
in and walking back out.
There's no way. And I don't
So-
want you to think I'm here to bash my stepmother because, you know, I'm, even today, it took everything in me to walk into that house where all this occurred, okay? And for me to still show her love, and I did it more for my daddy, because
She-
my daddy would want me to do
She
the
got
right
shown a
thing.
lot of love and compassion today that, you know, we never thought we could do.
With the emotions of what happened, I understand.
And,
completely.
and so I'm not here to say she's, you know, I don't want you to think I'm just trying to just tell you things to just, you know, get
That's
her,
okay.
because I would never want anybody to assume something that they didn't do. You
Yes,
know what
ma'am.
I'm saying?
Yes,
Like,
ma'am, I do.
that's not who I am and that's not what I'm here to do, but
Yes, ma'am.
I needed clarification for some of these things because I'm struggling.
I know it.
And it's just I'm not comfortable with certain things,
Yes, ma'am.
and I just, you know,
And I'll tell you, then there was another issue that I've been asking around, and maybe you might be able to shed some light
Sure.
on. In that revolver, I know you didn't know it was in there, but there were 2 spent shell casings in the cylinder when we recovered the gun, not just one. You know, revolver, the shell casings will stay in the cylinder, you know, so there were 2. So I don't know when that other one would have been fired. Do you know of any time where they've been out of the range or anyone
No.
fired
I don't
that
think he's
gun?
been to the range in a long time.
I don't
And
even
obviously,
know.
we looked around to make sure there's no bullet holes anywhere, in case it was
I
shot
don't
again.
even know that
but-
he went to the range. I don't know. That would be a question for my brother because I
asked him
do.
the same.
I do.
What did he say?
He didn't know.
Yeah.
Know of any time that they
Yeah,
shot.
And,
Yeah,
and that's what I'm saying, like, if it was something at the range, maybe he would have known, because he went to the range with them, but other than that, no, because where they live, as you see, you should not be
cannot shoot
firing
right
a
there.
weapon out there,
Oh,
period.
absolutely.
So I would not, but who
So that's
knows?
an odd thing. And it's even odd if the gun was loaded at the time before your dad was shot. It doesn't fit if there's 2 empty shell casings.
So was
in
it full? Was the revolver full?
It was there were bullets in the rest of the
Okay.
chambers, but there were 2 of them had spent
Okay,
shell casings
yeah.
in them. So doesn't necessarily line up with someone that just recently loaded a gun. There would be 1 shell casing in it unless it was fired twice, which there isn't any evidence at this time that it was fired twice in the house, but we don't know. So I
Yeah,
just
we didn't
know.
see any, I
I didn't know
mean, we
if-
looked around today. I looked around today. I
we
don't know if
did
you
too.
did, but I looked around.
We did as best we could,
Yeah.
you know, to make sure that there wasn't a bullet
Well,
hole
there hasn't been
somewhere.
nothing mentioned about a gun for years.
Yes, sir.
No, but, and Ann would not tell me about it because, she knew how I felt about it, because you know, when the topic came up,
He didn't need to be around.
I just flat said, I don't agree with, because this is what I asked her. I said, well, Ann,
Was this today?
I said, no, this was back when she started
Wanting to
this
get in the
whole
gun
thing,
and stuff.
yes.
Okay.
Can I step out and go to the potty?
Absolutely, man. If you leave, if you go down this hallway, down to the left.
But I asked her, I said, these are the questions I feel like you need to ask yourself before weapon ownership. You know, has there been something happen to where you feel that you need a weapon,
Yes,
you
ma'am.
know?
Yes, ma'am.
And you need to make sure that you get one that works for you. That's one of the reasons why my brother took her to the range and kind of let her get a feel. And I said, but I personally just do not feel like, because they're in a safe neighborhood, they've never had any kind of criminal, you know,
Yes, ma'am.
anything to warrant even the idea of getting
I
one.
understand.
But she'll go off on these little things, and she has, she likes to
She's had
spend
a
money, and
alcohol
she likes to,
problem
yeah,
again.
and she
Really
gets
heavy
real boastful, and she
Mhm.
gets real, you know, I don't know, she's just got a different
Oh,
personality.
she had showed her butt real big.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, absolutely. Even down in Florida this summer, and when she started drinking and we was out at a restaurant.
Mm-hmm.
Even on the cruise ship, she showed her butt.
Yeah, she got a little
She can
sassy.
flip.
She's got an anger. And that was part of, so the rehab that we sent her to was kind of like a dual therapeutic thing. It was kind of like for the pills, for the alcohol.
Just a substance, all substance type
Well,
thing. behavior.
and for emotional, because apparently she has had some childhood trauma.
Okay.
And so we found one that we felt could help her kind of with the whole bundle of issues that she was having.
Absolutely.
And when she came out of that, she said that she felt like she could start living a good, normal life. And it seemed like for a while, things did get better, even with Daddy. He seemed more comfortable.
Yeah, because she wasn't drinking and, you know, having these fits, because the alcohol sends her into these fits.
Mm-hmm.
Even if, I guess if, you know, if you're not getting it, you're gonna be ill and antsy, you
Yes,
know?
ma'am. Yes,
and
ma'am.
so I think that was.
And I'm gonna tell you something else that you might need to talk to my brother a little bit more about.
Okay.
That was a red flag for me as well. So my brother and I have been talking about, final arrangements for Daddy when things, because I said, when they're done with them, they usually want to move pretty quickly. And so we went to Rainwater and Bowden.
Yes, ma'am.
He did, to just find out what we would need to do to line them up to be able to go pick his body up and everything. And then for like a celebration of life, we were thinking about Baptist Church.
Yes, ma'am.
So he went by the church and talked to the pastor there. I forget his name, Jason
something, I can't think of his name.
Okay.
But anyways, he said that when, as he was talking to him, he asked kind of what happened.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess he told him that Ann, accidentally shot Daddy, and he died from the wounds. And the remark that the pastor apparently told him was, "I'm not surprised to hear that. I have counseled Ann in the past."
We don't know what he means by that.
I do not.
But that's something that y'all may be able to use, may not be able to use. I don't know.
I may talk to your brother again and kind of see where that conversation led.
Right.
If there's some
And-
insight, because again, I want to make sure there's not any kind of history of issues.
Well, see,
that
and I
somebody
don't
knows
know,
about.
and I
And
don't-
we don't know who she's talked to over the years. I mean, there's
She's
probably many of other
counseled
people out
who?
there
What,
that
over
she's
here?
went supposed
right.
to,
What-
so I don't
What,
know.
somebody over here, counsel what?
Yeah, I'm sure
So,
there were some.
and before we get to kind of y'all's conversations that you've had today, you mentioned, I'll just put it on the table, in situations where there's potential for someone purposefully,
Mhm.
killing somebody.
Mhm.
Do you suspect any kind of motive? Can you guys think of
I
any
do,
reason?
money.
So tell me about why you feel that way about money.
Because she's right. My daddy, our old family home place burned back in 2018, I think,
18 or 19, yeah.
Okay, so he got a pretty good chunk of insurance money, right? So Daddy paid off the house that they currently live in.
Okay.
Paid off whatever was still owed. Yeah, her black Subaru. Basically, was so proud, but they were debt free.
He was debt free. Yeah.
Well, apparently, and Nikki has been more tied in with the financial things. She does their taxes. Ann has racked up over $70,000 more of credit card debt.
She told me that.
Okay, so my daddy invested well. My daddy, I know for a fact, before he got the dementia, he had told me and my brother, we talked about the will and everything, and he had told us, I've got y'all set up, you know, y'all are going to be
worry about
good.
anything.
Well, apparently, Ann has made some remarks just recently that she didn't know that me and David were going to be in for a rude awakening because Daddy has left us nothing. Well, back in about 2020 or so, they had the will redone, supposedly. Well, now, my daddy was in this dementia at this time, okay? He shouldn't have, nothing should have been done, right? So, now there's a big thing that we're just out. That is not my daddy's intentions. I can.
And it's not
You
even
confirm that? I know it's not about the money.
Yeah, it's
but-
not even
It's
about the
not.
money. It's just the fact of, you know, her trying to
She's
finagle
paying
and
him.
maneuver stuff around.
And apparently, I know that some of this may have been, but supposedly she has had her son, Blaine, open an account. And now Nikki seems to think there's been some money transfers, but today she did tell me that she had not talked to Cliff,
Which is
who
his
is
financial advisor.
apparently my daddy's financial advisor.
That's in the little clip I got too.
I got you.
So we'll let you listen to that as well. I haven't even heard
I
that.
know I'd heard
representative.
in talking to your brother and Nikki that recently she had went and taken money out of like a life insurance fund.
So we've been told,
really?
we have been told that,
She took it out of it, like it was one of
I
those where you
don't
can
know.
invest money
Yeah.
into it and get it back if you needed it. So she's actually pulled money out of that.
Well, didn't she say that your dad didn't have no life insurance?
Yeah.
So I guess that's
That's what
kind of
she
the
said.
question I'm getting to is what does she have to gain in his passing?
Oh, a lot of money.
If he doesn't have life insurance, so it boils
That's
down to the
not
that's
will.
not true,
I'm
because he works for
telling
the
you.
university
Yeah.
and
Well, he
we've
was a
been told
financial
by,
advisor.
we've
too.
been told by a lady that he worked with at the university that when he retired, they gave him a $25,000 life insurance policy.
So I've been in touch with them, and they're supposed to be back in touch with me between now and next Tuesday. So hopefully we'll find out because, I mean.
He
we
was
just-
too smart of a man and too
I'm telling
money
you.
savvy to not
Anybody that
have
knows
something.
it. And I'm gonna tell you somebody else that can, that if you just really need an outside person to stand in for his integrity, my daddy's integrity, Miss Betty Kaysen.
Okay.
She's a very good friend of my daddy's. She's known my daddy for many years.
I would believe her completely. She's a good
So,
woman too.
There, yes, amazing.
It's
And
just-
so,
And you know, we've been told, I don't know if it's true, we don't know, we're just going by what we've been told. We've been told that there's, like I said, there have been several of the accounts opened over the past several weeks.
and that she just
And that
had,
she has been transferring money to those accounts with her son's name on them. Is there a way to pull
We might be able to
financial?
pull some financial documents depending on what we can get.
Right.
And who has access and power of attorney over his financial
Okay,
records.
well, that's, okay, so then we were told too, at that same, earlier the week, you know, when she shot him Saturday night, earlier in the week, she had went to get power of attorney over him,
Okay.
supposedly. We don't know if that's true. We've just been told that she was doing that earlier in the week, and that's
and
odd.
apparently there was a, and I don't know if it was made to Nikki, and I don't know how long ago that was, But I had been told that she had made a remark that, you know, Tonya and David are gonna have it made when something happens to Jim because, you know, he left us. Well, now we don't have anything. I mean, that makes no sense to me.
I understand.
You know, and like I said, it's not about the money. I could care less if I have to pay for my daddy's final expenses out of my pocket. I got my daddy.
You know, with her today, that was
But-
something we were talking about, you know, arrangements. Did you explain the arrangement thing? And she was like, oh, well, how much is that gonna cost? You know,
Because they're saying in order to send my daddy, once they're done with his autopsy,
He'll have to
that
be
he's got to be embalmed. And now she's worried about,
The cost of it
she was
all.
like, well, how much is that
and
gonna
I
cost?
just basically said, you know, you don't have to worry about nothing.
Like, we'll take care of that.
You know,
Now, do you
because
guys
I'm,
know, is there, and as these arrangements are being made, is there a life insurance policy that's gonna assist in the payment?
We
of
don't
this?
know.
You don't know
We
yet?
don't know. We're waiting on
She
the college
will
to
not
let us know.
release
And
anything to us. She has been very secretive, even to the point of that new will. She has
Did
let
David
us
see?
in on nothing.
we haven't, we don't know
David?
where the will's at. We know it's not filed
Supposedly,
here.
the
Because we
one-
went to the
We
courthouse to
did
see if
go
there
to
was
the
one
courthouse
filed.
just to see, and there was nothing. But there again, you know, I just want my daddy's wishes to be, you know, honored.
Mhm.
And I mean, it's just this whole situation has been, all she could talk about today was getting all this stuff cleaned out of the house. She's already ready to sell the house. I mean,
Some of those things, just to put you at ease, again, my goal was not to sway you in any direction,
Right.
nor can I let anybody sway our investigation in direction. It's just
Absolutely.
facts. But I do want to put y'all at some ease on some things. That's relatively normal behavior with somebody. You know what I mean? In a house that you live in where something bad's happened, sometimes that's
Oh,
normal to try.
yeah, and I don't
Try to
discount
move on,
that.
so I don't want you guys to look too deeply into everything, but
No.
It's hard for
sometimes
us
it's,
not to.
I don't blame you. I don't blame you at
You
all.
know,
That's why I'm
because we
trying
know
to
how
give y'all
she
some.
is, and we know, you know, that she's always been money, and always been about herself.
She was like that with her mother, because I took care of Mimi.
Mhm.
And she was real shady. She had a brother that still lives in Texas. And she was trying to go behind her mother's back by contacting her attorney out there
Mhm.
to get power of attorney over her. But the attorney, I guess, had called Mimi, and Mimi was like, no, you know, I don't want her having power of attorney. I've got everything. And I asked Mimi, I said, why would you not, you know, want her doing that? She said, because. She said, she'll go in there and she'll get everything. And he would get nothing, which I know that's irrelevant.
It is and it
it's-
isn't though, but it actually supports both potentials.
Right.
One, that she's
So-
after money, but two, that she's just always had a behavior like that.
Well,
And
that's
it
what I
never-
told her.
It doesn't
I said,
necessarily mean that
Right.
she's intentionally done anything. in it, so.
Right.
You know, it's all important. I don't want you to feel like.
And that's
it's
what I
not,
told her. I
but
said, you need
I
to just
understand.
Just put it all out
pull it
there.
out there, and y'all do what you can with it.
That
I
is my
mean,
plan.
because some of it might be able to be used.
Some of it's circumstantial,
Yeah.
some of it is coincidental, and some of it might be something that
You
leads
know
us in a
what?
direction.
It's your field, not ours.
And
I
I'm
know
with
there's
you.
some things that, you know, we may not understand.
And it's, but I want
To
you
the legal
guys, I
system,
want to be
but-
able to try to help you understand.
And we're not
and for
trying
peace, at
to-
the very least, through all this.
I would
So,
never want somebody to pay for something that you know they
Isn't
didn't.
proper, that they didn't do,
Right.
or-
I mean, like even her under these circumstances.
I don't know.
But dadgummit, you know, I feel like my daddy has taken a lot of things from her, acting the way she's acted, and I'm gonna say it. I do feel like she was abusing my daddy behind closed doors. I feel like it may have been more verbal.
That's why I said more
But-
emotional and verbal.
You know, she is very aggressive. She's very, when she doesn't get her way, she'll
She
pitch
pouts
it
like a little 2-year-old when
I
she doesn't
mean,
get her way.
Just
and
type of
and she
personality
becomes
style, yeah.
dangerous.
I believe you. I do believe
She
you.
truly does.
I mean, I'm not exaggerating when I tell you she's dangerous, okay? And when I tell you my brother's young kids are scared of her right now,
And they're having a hard time.
They're-
Like,
they're-
the
they're-
7-year-olds
this
having
has
panic
been a
attack and
very
anxiety attack
difficult-
at school. You know, I mean,
Definitely some issues.
There's issues with everybody, yeah.
Did they tell you about her breakdown? It was about 4 years ago at her little Florida trip where she got mad over the fact that their son Jace wouldn't take a melatonin that she'd bought and broke the glass
And
and
then threw
almost
something and broke a glass.
I mean,
Yes.
it's just it
You know,
yeah,
that's just childish.
It was a child.
But then I
Right.
walk up in there, the whole family's here, right?
Mhm.
And my sweet daddy just goes over like trying to calm her down,
Mhm.
and she pushes daddy.
Yeah.
So if she'll do that in front of all of us,
What is she doing?
what does
Behind
she do
closed
behind
doors.
closed doors? I mean, I'm sorry, but my mind just can't help but stay there.
I know it, and I don't know if we'll ever know what goes on or how.
Right.
I mean, and I know we'll never get the real reason why she did this or what the true
And why she even thought that was okay to do
happenings of
that.
this,
I know.
but, you know, we just need closure in some sort
And I'm
of
gonna do
way.
everything I can to tell you and be transparent on what we're finding and what
And that's
the
why,
facts that we know are showing.
right, and that's
So-
why I told her, I said, he needs to know our faces just like he knows their
Absolutely.
faces. And know that
Absolutely.
we're, you know, serious about this
But we
and
wanna help y'all
in any way.
get
And I
to
appreciate
the right decision
Yes,
and
ma'am.
the right charges and not, so I do want you to know that.
Yes,
I mean,
ma'am, and I believe
I
you.
would never ask you.
And your brother's been nothing but fantastic as well,
Yeah.
and his wife, everyone's
Well,
been
we
in the
have
same way.
embraced her
so-
and loved her for over 25 years, okay? Even through her sickness, we've rallied around her. You know, like I said,
That's
I
family.
stayed with my daddy
Yeah.
for the whole month to make sure he had food and he was eating and he was drinking and,
Taking
you know,
his medication
and
and, you
getting
know,
his medication and doctor's appointments and we've done everything and we
Yes,
want
ma'am.
to continue to I mean this is hard for us because now it's created some division that it makes it uncomfortable for
that,
everybody.
So
So-
when you spoke to her that night,
Mhm.
had you spoke to her again since then until today?
No, I have
well,
not.
they texted a little bit last night.
Okay.
But it was just a short and sweet because, we had discussed going over there because she had said that we needed to come get his personal belongings.
Mhm.
And she had texted, or talked to my
that she was
uncle
going to come
and
with
said
us.
that we were gonna go and I was coming.
Okay.
Well, he texted Ann and he said, hey, Tonya, Brittany, and Perry's gonna be over tomorrow with me and we're gonna get Dad's stuff. And she said, well, Brittany don't need to be here, or I don't need Brittany here, whatever. And I just said, I asked her, I said, well, what did I do? Like, I haven't done anything. And so then Mama reached out to her, because he was like, well, maybe you need to reach out to her and just, tell her, just talk to her.
Yeah.
So she reached out to her, and she said that, we just had a few things that we were going to spend the afternoon together, get her out of the house for a little bit, go to
Mhm.
lunch, and I just wanted to do that with her. So that's why I was coming. It was no other reason but to help
Sure.
them and, be there. That was my grandfather, just like it was the other kids.
That's right.
So then she texts back and she was like, well, how is she feeling toward me? But that was the only other conversation we've really had. It was
She's just
just
worried about getting attacked. over
I guess
there,
you
yeah.
thought I was going to say
Yeah.
something, but I'm the last one that's going to say, like, I'm not a
She's not-
confrontational
no,
person.
She's not.
So, I mean, I'm going to,
I'm the one that you better watch out for
Right,
when
so-
you piss
Yes,
me
ma'am.
off, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
And
When
me
she-
and Ann have a history. Like I've come at her before because of her madness
I
and
understand.
her.
but you can only
But-
take so much and
Yeah.
before you
I'm not gonna
break.
lie to you. I'm the one you better watch.
So tell me about today. When you guys got over there, I guess you guys ended up having a conversation about
Yeah,
what
well,
happened.
I mean, from the moment we walked in, we
We
were
took them a
embracing.
biscuit, we,
And so because I haven't really, other than what she told me the night of,
Mhm.
I just said, Ann, I said, can I ask you a question? And I did say, if you're not comfortable, but I'm like, what happened that night? I mean, I just, and she said, no, absolutely, she had no problems
Okay.
with just telling me. And she said, your dad and I had been going back and forth about him taking a shower,
Mhm.
pretty much the same thing she had told me before. And she said, and he'd been showing me some things with the gun, and I forget exactly her verbiage,
it's in here now.
but yeah, and that, she pointed the gun and it
She's-
went off.
Yeah, she said she pointed the gun and said, if you don't take a shower, I'm gonna have to use this on you, or I might have to use this on you.
And she pulled the trigger, and she said that that's
She
when
said
it
she pulled the
discharged
trigger
her.
or the gun went
Well,
off?
I think she said in here she didn't realize that she had pulled the trigger, but the night that she called her,
I know
she
she
said
said
she'd pulled the trigger.
but
In here, I'm almost certain she said she didn't realize she pulled the trigger.
So
Now,
you
granted,
just need to listen to it, because right now,
did she
I
talk
was.
to anybody else and give a different story today?
we didn't, nobody else. I just
Nobody
stood
else
beside
asked.
her.
That
I mean, I
was it.
probably,
Why did you record it?
just to see what the statement
story.
was, so
No
we can
problem
kind of
with it, I
compare
just,
them.
just
Yep.
wanted to ask you if you had
Because
any reason going
Nikki has
into it.
videos, or recordings of her telling, one thing, so we just kind of want to see if she's changing,
Okay.
And I know
how
what she told me the night of.
Anybody ask you to do that specifically to record, or is it just things
No,
that
we
y'all
just,
want?
no, it's just things that we want to do, like, we just want to kind of have it and,
Okay.
and see what she said, like,
Okay, can we listen to it?
yeah.
I haven't even, like,
Had you not
so,
either?
Now, you're going to have to
I mean, I
really
was
listen.
there, but
You're going to have to really listen because
my anxiety
They were
is
talking
way up.
in the background, so,
I understand.
I'm
and
running
it's,
on.
I'm going to
not
start it
much
a
sleep.
little later in the video, because, hold on. See,
Maybe a little more than half of that bedroom.
we were talking about other, I recorded for like 30 minutes.
We did not fuss, we just had a discussion, heated discussion about, you get in the shower. And so anyway, he said, let's just do one thing at a time, I want to show you how to use this gun.
On the radio.
And so I got the gun out and, I figured it's not loaded, is it? Because I didn't know how to check that chamber thing. And he said, no, it's not loaded. I never loaded a gun in the house. I've never done it, and
Well, I just helped.
it's not loaded.
Yeah.
He didn't check
Yeah,
it
my
either.
son's team.
So we're sitting there on the side of the bed, we're sitting there, he's showing me all, how to cock it.
The helicopter guy that
Where the bullets
on
go,
the radio.
and the little round thing. I didn't open it
Or
though.
whatever.
Push it down.
Yeah.
Anytime you handle a gun, you should check that.
Yeah.
So we're sitting there and he's going over all the parts of the gun,
Yeah,
all that kind of stuff, like he does.
We're doing that. So you kind of
So,
Jason and
I stood there and I had the gun in my hand and I said, I really need you to understand how to just hold the gun. I didn't even realize I had my hand on the trigger or anything. I don't remember that. But so, I said, I really want you to get in the shower. I have to get you something. Well, next thing I know, the gun's gone.
I mentioned it already.
Yeah, and it got on my ear, the shoulder.
Yeah, there was.
So,
Well, the thing was.
but it came out back to here somewhere.
It's like this problem. Right?
So it must have bounced around in there and done some real damage.
Yeah, like the
Because
father and all the
has
coaches also yelled at me. And it seems like they're all bitching because like Jason was never allowed to.
And so that's what happened.
He bitch baby 2 times. Or
Just a
2 times.
freak accident.
Basically, on his run.
Would you email that to me, please? And just keep it on your phone in case we gotta get it in a different way. I'll
Yeah.
tell the DA.
I mean, that, like, I couldn't be like, y'all shut up, because I
Yeah,
didn't,
yes,
like,
that's
advertise it
right.
was being
Was
recorded
you
or
able to
anything.
hear?
I did, yeah.
But I
But
just,
it actually goes in line with, it's very similar with minimal changes to what she told me when I first got there, with the exception of, I'll use this on you if you don't get in the shower.
so she didn't tell you that?
No, what she told me, well, she initially told me, and again, I'll have to go back and listen to my recordings, but, because we
Right,
rehashed it about,
information.
and from everybody. But, somebody got the gun, it was a lot similar, they were fussing about the shower, and then she made it sound like it was his dementia. Kind of like 1 minute or shower, next minute, no, let's get back to show you how to use this
He would have
gun.
never remembered that. And I'm gonna tell you something
He wouldn't
else.
have.
He could not have known the parts. The way my daddy is now, I can tell you, I can tell you exactly what he would have done. He wouldn't have wanted no part of that gun. He would have said, confound, this would have been his word, confound, man, put that confound thing up.
Yeah, he would have been, and at 10:30 at
honest.
night, he would have said, confound it, like.
No, put that confound thing
So,
up.
another question we have,
So,
I have, so his glasses were laying over on the dresser. Okay, were they on his head or were they not on his head?
We'll have to look. The glasses were off of him, but they may have been moved during everything.
The only reason I'm asking is because I'm curious as to, was he asleep?
Can he see well? without his
He wears
glasses?
his glasses.
sometimes he'll take
Yeah,
them
he
off
wears
for
glasses.
very little bit.
I'm
yeah,
just
it's
curious, like,
rare,
was
but-
he asleep and she woke him up? Like, that's just a question I had,
Don't
you
know.
know, like,
Nothing in any statement I've got leads me to believe that he was asleep. I think it was
Okay.
fussing over the shower, like trying to get him in there, like they were still.
well, what was the
Well, I
big deal
have
about
the
the shower?
glasses
I
Like,
don't, something was broken about the shower, and she was trying to show him what was messed up with a piece of the shower.
no, she told us she
Because-
was trying to make him take a shower.
Well,
We
she said
fixed
there was
the
something-
shower door
That's it.
because my husband installed those.
She was supposedly trying to show him how to use it and get him in the shower, and they were just kind of going back and forth.
And see,
then it
this
went
is
back to
where
the gun.
we had I've had discussions with her. I said, you know what? I know ideally you want him to take a shower every day, ideally.
Mhm.
But you gotta pick and choose your battles with his condition.
Yes, ma'am.
And is it that crucial that he get into the shower? And she said, well, you're right. I shouldn't even. And I said, especially if his anxiety's going up, because you can't just keep on pushing, and it doesn't help you and it doesn't help him.
Yes, ma'am.
I mean, you
So
let
we
him go that one day,
tried-
and the next morning he might get up and say,
He
I'm going to
stayed
take a
with-
shower,
he
you know?
stayed with me, and I didn't make him take a shower the whole week.
I
Because
understand.
every time I
We couldn't
mentioned
get
it,
him to take a shower.
You can tell when he starts, like, if he don't want to do something, he's going to be kind of,
yeah, I didn't push him. I let Daddy do. Because, you know, to be honest with you, what did he do all day? Nothing.
at the end of the day,
Sit
he's an
around.
adult and can choose what he wants to do. and what
You
he
know,
don't wanna
it
do.
just wasn't worth getting him wired up for it, in my opinion. And we've tried to work with her on that. And at any time, she could have called me and said, you just need to come get your daddy. I can't do this anymore.
I understand.
And you know what? I'd have come and I'd have moved him out and I'd have took care of him for the rest
Yeah,
of his
she was
days.
calling, they were going on a cruise in the middle of February. Then we're
They
going
were
on
gonna
one
take
in
him
March.
on a cruise.
Then she was calling us, as soon as we get back, she was wanting to go to Texas for a week.
So,
and
I mean,
stuff.
it's
She
just,
wanted to get away.
I got you.
you know, it's just,
It's a lot.
It's just, I'm
And-
telling you,
and we
I want to
recognize
be able
that.
to be my daddy's voice. And I'm not lying to you when I tell you these things about my daddy. Him
believe it.
going over the parts of that gun, he didn't do that.
Okay.
It didn't happen,
Okay.
okay? Because there's just no way. He wouldn't have even known the names of the parts.
Yes, ma'am.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
I do.
and I'm being completely honest when I tell you that. He couldn't even get out and put gas in a car now, because he couldn't remember the process of getting, you know what I'm saying?
Yes, ma'am.
And-
So how would he know the parts of these guns? He wouldn't. He wouldn't.
And there was one day recently, you know, that several months back, he got up and got ready like he was going to work, and she said, where are you going? And he said, I'm going to work. He was in his dress clothes, like he was going to college to
Yeah.
work. You know, and he hasn't worked there in a long time. Like, I mean,
That's the
little
thing about
things.
dementia is that they may not be able to remember things, but sometimes they
It's
remember
like
work
from
and
years
remember you
ago,
gotta
right.
get dressed. And
But they don't remember in today, like what's
exactly
going
what's
on.
happening at the
Yeah.
moment.
Yeah,
There's
yeah.
not
So
an
for
exact
him
science
to
it.
know you know, because he got to where most every conversation he had, it was more of a random babble. It
Mhm.
wasn't, he could start talking to you about your badge,
Yes, ma'am.
and the next sentence is gonna be something like
Totally off the wall.
burning some leaves, you know, or, you know
Just
what I
go,
mean?
go to something else immediately.
Right, he can't, you know, and this is a very intelligent man. This is a man with a doctorate degree
Mhm.
in education. I mean, I've never asked this man a question but what he couldn't answer
Got you.
my whole life. So to watch him be so, you know,
Out
being
of
a-
sorts and fragile. Like, he was very
Yes.
fragile and frail.
and he spent most of his days quiet and you know, just sleeping, just
And he's always been a busy go-getter person. Like, he's
Mhm.
always,
a social butterfly.
Yeah.
And he still had at times a little sense of humor,
just
but
changed, of
but his whole thing. So the conversations that she said, I'm telling
They
you,
just don't add up.
I think she started getting infuriated with him, you know, and that was a intimidation tactic.
Mhm.
And
If you could know her on a like just normal out, and then if you could know him normally out, you would understand where we're coming from
So-
with all of this.
Yes, ma'am.
you know, but you know, I know that you have to kind of
Well,
take
and
that with a grain of
it's
salt.
I do. It's a process. You know, I have to
Mhm.
kind of sift through either what we, as you know, and like it or not, you guys are biased.
Mhm.
You know, just for the sense of the term and definition, just like your brother is, and I told him the same. So you have your own beliefs and opinions on what's going on. So, but your statements matter, and what you overheard matters, and what you
Yeah.
have seen matters.
The
and those are
facts
things-
matter.
Yeah, just the facts,
Right.
right? And I'll take it all in and try to make it as best we can, but
Mhm.
it's still gonna be a little while of digging, and you'll just have to bear with me on the time frame before I can get you some absolutely clear answers. But I don't mind being transparent along the way.
So
with
at the bare minimum,
We'll talk on that.
Oh,
We'll
okay.
talk on that. I'm gonna get you my card. We'll step out here for a minute, talk a little bit more, but I'm gonna get you my card so that you can send that to me. if you don't
Yeah, I was
mind.
gonna say, I'm gonna, is it okay if I edit it down because it's not wanting to send, or do you want it all?
The whole thing, if you would.
Okay.
And hopefully it'll work via email.
No, I mean, like, the first part of it is just normal conversation. Do you want
I
that?
would rather
You want
keep
it all?
all of it in its entirety. Yes,
Okay,
ma'am.
it's not wanting to send everything. It says it won't send everything when I tried to go ahead and add it to an email.
Okay.
So I don't know if I can maybe try to send it in 2 parts, but I don't know if once I edit it, if it'll mess it up.
Let me see if there's a better way to do it now, and we might have some software we can get it. Y'all come on, step out here. We'll go in that little room.
The Agans' daughter-in-law Nicolette returns, bringing James's phone with her. By this point, Marianne's story has changed several more times.
Wanted a couple things from you, like we talked
Sure.
about. Is one, is your father-in-law's phone. All right, fantastic.
That's the pin.
All right, and again, just to clarify, you guys got this from Ann.
Yes, she was just gonna throw it
She's
away,
just
so.
gonna toss it, so she lets you
We were
guys
gonna let
have
one
it.
of our kids play on it. It's an old phone,
Okay.
so we were just gonna let one of our kids play on it.
And I will be able to get this back to you ASAP.
Sure, that's fine.
As soon as possible, as soon as we get it done. So, and I will let me grab a form real quick.
Sure.
Since it's your property,
Okay.
this just basically gives us the ability to do
Yeah.
a forensic extraction
Sure,
of it.
yeah. And you may
So-
not find much, because I mean, I don't know if she used it at all, but I don't think he knew how to use it, so I don't know what's on
And
there.
this is just checking some boxes.
Sure, yeah.
Just to make sure that there wasn't any text between them or anything
Sure.
of negative
No
nature or
worries.
anything, so.
And we haven't done anything with it. He was gonna download like YouTube or something, so he's like, I'm not gonna do that
I
until.
doubt it will take any time. And
Sure.
I'll find a way to get it back to you as soon as possible.
That's fine.
If that happens, so you can get back to the kiddos or whatever you gotta do. And then, of course, the next reason is I understand that you were present for a meeting between Ann and I guess her attorney where
Yes.
she gave a statement
Yes.
about what occurred that was slightly different from maybe what some of us had heard as well.
Exactly, yeah, I wasn't expecting her to give a testimony, because I think she had already done a testimony, so when we sat down to speak, I was not expecting another testimony to be given, but he did
Okay.
ask for one.
What day was this? Do you remember?
It was Monday afternoon, after the event,
Monday.
because they
after-
contacted him that Sunday, and I think it was Monday at 5:30.
And did Ann ask for you to come with her?
Yes,
Okay, so she requested you to be present.
yes.
Did anybody else ask you to go or to be there present for the meeting? or
I don't
anything?
think anybody asked me to go. Her son was with us, Blaine.
Okay,
I think he may have let me know about the meeting kind of thing. I think it was just assumed that I would be there.
so Blaine was present as well?
Yes, he was.
What's Blaine's last name?
Knowles,
N-O-L-E-S?
Knollw. Maybe there's, I don't know how it's spelled.
All right.
Lord.
That's fine.
I don't remember how it's spelled.
All right, so he was present. So you, Blaine, Ann, and the attorney.
It was on a Zoom
represented-
call.
It was a Zoom call?
It was a
Okay.
Zoom call,
Where
yes.
were you guys at during
In
the Zoom
her
call?
dining room.
All right, and tell me I guess at some point they asked,
Yeah, he was like, why don't you explain to me what happened again?
okay,
And she said that they had watched a program on gun control, and that prompted Jim to say, well, I've got that gun, I want to show you the gun. And then I think she had said something about the shower, and that they kind of went back and forth in a heated discussion now.
Okay.
On about getting in the shower. And then he was like, well, let's just do one thing at a time. Let's look at this gun. So she said she took it out of the holster, and she's holding it and showing it to me. He's pointing to everything on the gun. And she makes mention of, this is the barrel, this is where you hold it, this is this is that, this is where the bullets go. This is where you would load all the bullets. And then she said that she held it to his chest and said, well, I could use this on you to get you in that shower. And then it just went off. And, that was pretty much the gist of it, but.
Did she give any other details on like how it went off during this conversation?
Not during this conversation.
Okay.
I don't remember her saying necessarily anything about
manipulating the gun.
No, just that she held it up, and he did ask her, did you know it was loaded? And she says he said it wasn't loaded.
Okay.
One of the things that concerns me about saying that is he just showed her all the aspects of the gun.
Mm-hmm.
As a military man, and a man who doesn't like guns, I would think he would have at least looked to make sure.
Yes, ma'am.
That's the part that kind of bothers me about this whole thing. And I just, again, if this was just 2 young kids, this makes sense. My husband's taught her gun safety.
Mm-hmm.
And this is a man who was in the military, who knows about guns. This isn't his gun. Even with dementia, this was his old gun.
Mm-hmm.
I just feel like when you're pointing out things on a gun, showing somebody where the bullets go,
Mm-hmm.
how did you not know there was bullets in it? It just, that part, it just is unsettling to me.
And to give you some, I guess, solace in this too, and again, this is just from my observation so far, I believe the gun is an older revolver, and it's the type of revolver that you actually have to maneuver a piece out of the way behind the cylinder to load the bullets one at a time.
Okay.
And when that is closed, I don't believe you can tell by looking at it
Okay.
if there's bullets in it, unless you're looking at it from the front.
Okay.
And that's normally exposed where you can see the bullets.
Right.
Don't hold me to that, but that's the understanding I have.
Yeah,
on this gun.
I don't think I've ever, I may have seen it.
But not
I've
manipulated it to yourself.
I've never used it.
So, now again, that doesn't change the fact that you're 100% right, that, your father-in-law obviously knows guns and would probably know how to manipulate one little thing to see. And this is how you verify that it's empty.
And she didn't mention that he opened the chamber.
Okay.
But, I don't, maybe he did and she left that part out. I don't know.
Yes, ma'am.
It just, I even think the lawyer kind of raised an eyebrow when she said that he showed her all the points of the gun, and then she was like, oh, it wasn't loaded. I don't know, my husband checks and rechecks.
Yes, ma'am.
Even if he's like, I unloaded that gun, he's still he's still checking.
Yes, ma'am.
Would he have checked it again or made sure? I feel like he would have.
Gotcha.
But I don't know. She did not mention that he pulled that thing out and looked at it, but then again, that question wasn't really asked.
Yes, ma'am.
So,
She was pretty short and sweet on her statement.
Pretty
Kinda
short
like
and
you
sweet,
gave
yeah.
it, just, they were having an argument about him getting in the shower, and they had been speaking about the gun earlier, or watched a program. He wanted to go ahead before they dealt with the shower issue in their argument. Let's just deal with this gun like we talked about.
Right.
She retrieved the gun from a holster.
Yes.
Okay. Did she mention in this conversation anything about retrieving ammunition?
No.
Okay. So, again, what she told you guys, or through the Zoom meeting, that she was holding the gun herself, he was explaining items on the gun to her.
Mm-hmm.
And then somewhere, any other statements prior to her saying, well, if you don't get in the shower, I can use this against you?
Yeah,
that's what you do it? Is that what you?
That's what I understood it to be,
Okay.
in a joking way.
Gotcha.
Was, just teasing kind of thing.
And then it just went off.
And it just went off.
Okay.
But she has told something different to my sister-in-law.
So tell me about that. So that's pretty much the nuts and bolts of the conversation you overheard.
Yes.
Is there anything else you can think of that you remember from that conversation that stands out to you, or anything that?
No, she's very comfortable talking about it. It's uncomfortable for me to hear it.
Yes, ma'am.
Myself. I don't know how she gets that part. Like you said, we've talked about this before.
We have.
Everybody handles things differently.
Yes, ma'am.
She's very resolute, and that's her story. She did, when my sister-in-law did ask her, because she had not told my sister-in-law what happened yet, so she did ask. You know, and I said, listen, just let me know what she says, because I'm just a little concerned from, you know, she's told me several different things that have happened, especially about how it came about. You know, at first it was her idea.
Yes.
This was her idea. She wanted to learn how to use it, and now it switched to his idea. That part bothers me a little bit.
Yes, ma'am.
Tonya did say she was consistent that it was his idea.
Okay.
But she said she pulled the trigger.
Okay.
In her statement to Tonya. You know, I get the teasing part, I guess. I mean, I could see wanting to tease somebody with it, but going ahead and pulling the trigger bothers me.
Yes, ma'am.
That, why would you pull the trigger? Why would you need to do that? Even in a joking way. You know it's a gun. You're 60-something years old. You know gun safety. You're not ignorant to it. Again, I'm not saying, I mean, you could pull the trigger joking. I get it. I totally get it. I do understand that, but that bothers me personally.
So the conversation that, I guess, has been reiterated to you was from Tonya?
Tonya, yeah.
Was this the first time she spoke to Ann about it?
And explained something to her the night of. I don't know what was said in that discussion with her. I think I got pulled out, maybe, or something when she was on the phone with Tonya. I think I got a phone call.
But this was the following day?
This was a couple of days later.
Because I think Tonya had a recording of this conversation.
Yes, she does.
And provided that to us.
Yes.
So I have
That's
that.
the conversation.
That's the same conversation.
Same conversation.
Or it changes, obviously, from what she told that you overheard in the Zoom meeting.
A little bit, yeah.
And slightly maybe changed on just your conversations with her and other people as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know, and I get, you know, little things are going to change. Like what program was it? Was it a military program? Was it a gun control program?
That's right.
That's fine. I understand that. But the only thing that bothers me, or there's two things that bother me, that it was her idea, now it's flipped to his idea.
Yes, ma'am.
And that she don't know how it went off. It just kind of went off to, I pulled the trigger.
Yes, ma'am.
Those two things are unsettling to me personally.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm not saying I'm trying to point blame. I'm not trying to accuse.
No, I get you, and I understand completely why you feel that way.
Yeah.
I do, without a doubt. While I have you here, I understand that you have helped Ann with her financials a lot.
Yes,
And we
off and
spoke
on.
briefly about that some in our first meeting that we had while David was here with you. Is there anything else that's come to mind? I know that she had a life insurance plan that you spoke about that she actually cashed out.
Yes.
To pay off some things.
She, I was helping her with her taxes, just to TurboTax. I am not a tax expert. I am not a financial expert.
Right.
I'm a budgeter,
Yes,
and I'm
ma'am.
very thrifty. So she asked for some help, and I don't know anything other than what I saw. She gave me a notebook, and in the back of the notebook was a check stub thing from what looked like a whole life insurance policy cashed out, and I can't remember the total now. It was for a lot, 40,000 or something.
Okay.
That was from 2022. She did renovate her bathroom, which that lines up. I
Yes,
think
ma'am.
she cashed it out too because they were having problems and leaking, and you know they needed to fix both the bathrooms and stuff like that. So it sounds to me she cashed it out to take care of those two things.
Gotcha.
How much is left in there, what that was for, she's never given me details on.
Okay.
She asked for me to go, or she confessed to me about the credit card debt.
Yes.
That was right at the beginning of January. She called me to a restaurant. We went to Carrollton right across, we went to a restaurant, I can't remember the name, Mexican restaurant across from the college.
Okay.
I don't know if that makes any difference. But anyway, she called me there and she confessed that she had this $80,000, $70,000 in credit card debt, and was like, what would you do?
Yeah.
And I was like, well, there were several things you could do. So we got on Credit Karma and we looked at some options about a loan or maybe filing bankruptcy, those kinds of things. And then she's like, well, maybe we should talk to Tyler, my financial guy. She goes, would you come with me? And I said, sure. So I went with her to that meeting to talk about what some options might be. And he said that she had a 401k. I don't know what they're all called, maybe a Roth IRA. I have no idea what it's called, but he said she had two different plans. From what I understand, they're in her name.
Okay.
And that she could cash out one and just pay off all the debt with it.
Gotcha.
She seemed pretty comfortable with that was what she was going to do.
Okay.
To help take care of the debt. So I feel confident that she used her money to take care of that.
Gotcha.
Nothing else was discussed as far as we talked about maybe her selling the house and getting another house or, things like that, but that was it.
To your knowledge, is there anything that you know of, money-wise, that Jim had that she would benefit from in his passing early? Is there anything that stands out to you in any way?
The only thing that would stand out to me at this point is she did take his name off the house, the deed to the house 4 years ago. That hasn't been recent. she may have done that because he was declining, and if, I don't know, I don't know how any of that stuff works, so
Yes,
if I give you any information, I'm
no,
ignorant
no,
as
please,
to
please,
if that means
whatever.
anything. Right,
It
okay.
does. No, it's good to know.
You know, so I mean, I guess she could benefit from selling the house, whereas right now, he would have flipped out if she sold the house, you know?
Okay.
It's not like she was gonna be a millionaire or something,
understand. Yeah.
you know?
That's the only thing that strikes you as maybe something
That's
that,
a little unsettling, but not necessarily, it makes sense of why she would have
I
done it.
understand.
Is that, okay?
as he was, kind of getting
Yeah, I
worse
think
with
she
the
started
dementia.
moving everything over into her name, and again, that wasn't necessarily unusual because he couldn't pay a bill if he wanted to. He wouldn't have even known where to drive to pay the bill, you know, or how to write a check or where to send it to. It would have been, one of us would have had to sit there with him and kind of coach him through that,
Okay.
you know. So it made sense to me that she took everything out of her name, I mean, out of his name and put everything in her name. But, you know, that would be, I mean, I guess, and the reason why I mention that is because hours after this happened, she was already talking about, I'm just gonna have to get me a realtor so I can sell this place. But at first I was like, that didn't really strike me as odd because I don't know if I would want to live there either, you know, after this happened. So, but it was kind of an odd thing to say.
I understand.
But, you know,
How often are you seeing Ann since all this?
I have not seen her much. I'm having a very hard time being around her, honestly. My kids are suffering terribly. They're calling in grief counselors to the school. My son's out today with stomach pain, which we think is related to grief.
Yes, ma'am.
Luke got a write-up yesterday for not wanting to listen. So I kind of had it out with the principal last night about how I was like, my kids need some support. And I explained why. I was like, they know they lost a grandfather, but I told them what happened. And so they were pretty shocked. I was like, my kids need support. So I've had a hard time wanting to be around her.
I understand completely. I do.
I'm watching my husband
blame you.
suffer. You know, my kids are all suffering from this. And my son Michael, his birthday was yesterday, and he felt like his whole birthday was ruined. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, I'm having a hard time being around her. When she calls, I'm pleasant. Don't get me wrong. She called me yesterday about the cruise. We've canceled our cruise. I told her I just didn't think we could go. And I didn't tell her it's because of her. Yeah.
Sure.
It kind of is because
I understand.
of her.
You
For
seem like a
multiple
type
reasons.
of person who's just not trying to instill hate and.
I'm not
you
that
know,
kind of person. I'm not, you know, I'm a God-fearing woman, and I'm all about forgiveness, but this has been tough.
Yes, ma'am.
I want to believe her, but I know she has a tendency to her anger get the best of her.
I believe you completely.
So,
Does she drive?
yes,
What does she drive?
she drives a black Subaru,
Okay.
maybe a 2018 black Subaru. I don't know anything about Subarus. I don't know what kind it
That's
is.
the only car they have?
Yes,
Okay, all right. Has she been still at the house? She's still staying at the house?
for the most part. You know, she leaves, I think, to go to the grocery store. She took her son to the airport. He had come in from Texas. He left yesterday, so she's been, for the most part, staying home.
Okay. Well, again, that was the purpose, is to be able to get this from you
Sure.
and to hear kind of what you overheard her in that Zoom call.
Yeah,
Is there any other questions I can answer for you while you're here?
I don't think
Anything
so.
that might come up?
No, I don't
And our
think so.
plan, and just to reiterate, and you can tell this to Tonya and your husband and anybody else too, the autopsy was completed. We gotta wait for the medical examiner's results to come back. And there's still a couple more things. The phone was one of the things on my list. A couple other little small things. And I've been on the phone with the district attorney
Okay.
throughout all of this.
Sure, yeah, we appreciate that.
You know, we've been kind of back and forth and
Yeah.
just working the case together. Hopefully the next week, maybe 2 weeks, we'd like to sit down with everybody
Okay,
and kind of tell you what our findings are,
sure,
what direction we're leaning towards, and give you guys some insight on what the
sure.
next steps are.
Okay,
So
okay.
we haven't forgot about that. It's not like we're gonna make
Right.
moves without keeping you guys in the know about it. We're just trying to be very thorough in the investigation.
Absolutely.
Just so that, one, if charges are brought up, it's the right charges.
Right.
You know, and we don't have to change that down the road if some new piece of evidence or new discovery happens. And then we're also just trying to kind of go about the process with the understanding that some things are gonna take way too long, like the GBI, getting the information back on range analysis and all of that
Sure,
may
okay.
take a long time. But we have enough knowledge based on what we found in the autopsy and what we're kind of learning
Okay,
to make a good decision once we complete some of these preliminary things.
okay, that sounds good.
So hopefully very soon we'll be able to get you guys a direction on where we're going. And
And for
beyond
my,
that-
with the death certificate, this is gonna come off as selfish, I guess, but I do need that to process the insurance on the cruise.
Yes, ma'am.
Do you know about how long that would take?
I don't know.
It could take a while.
I feel like the coroner would be able to give you the best answer there. I don't think it would take quite so long.
Okay.
Once the autopsy's complete, I believe they can release the paperwork.
I think
and
he's
get
just
that
writing his
rolling,
notes up, right?
Yeah, no, the coroner's, yeah, his stuff is pretty quick. It's
And
the
the
medical
medical.
examiner. But even with that, I don't, because I can't see why that would change. the
Right,
death
yeah, no,
certificate.
and again, this is,
Her
it
ruling
comes
should
off,
be pretty
it
quick.
sounds selfish, I don't mean to come off selfish, but, like, the kids are wanting to still try to do something the end of that week, so I'm trying to get down to Gulf Shores. You know what I'm saying, like, but it's fine, it's not a big deal, we'll put it on a credit card, we'll just keep on moving.
I'll
but-
make a call, to the coroner, Stapleton, and just say, hey, what's the status? What's your knowledge on this?
Yeah,
And try to
it's not a
give you
big deal, it
I don't
really
mind
is
a
not a
bit.
big
Nope,
deal,
I don't mind a bit, to figure it out. I know that the medical examiner, of course, is ruling this a homicide.
Okay,
And that's just, anything as simple as just a definition for somebody was killed by somebody
Exactly,
else.
right.
Regardless of the factors to it. So with that being in place, I don't see there be a lengthy time to release a lot to the, I don't know who it goes to.
yeah, I
You know
have
what
no idea, like, well, if somebody dies of natural
Social Security
causes,
office or
it's pretty
something,
quick,
right, so-
yeah.
But either way, that should happen.
And does that go to the funeral home, or what happens with that, or does it go to the coroner? I don't know how that works, I don't remember how that
Coroner,
works.
I don't know. Let me see if I can get you some.
No,
answers
it's
for that.
fine, it's not a big deal.
I haven't had
just was
anybody like
curious.
super close in my family that I've had to be, over in the state.
I'm trying to remember, like.
I would
I'm-
imagine Ann would probably receive that,
Okay,
since she is the primary executor probably on those decisions. But it might be some time and the coroner might get it first. Or be able to
I will
access
say,
it.
somebody sent her, now, with the police report, is that something she has access to anytime?
Everybody has access to some facet of a police report.
Okay.
There's open records she can file for. I have not sent her, or our department, to my knowledge, has not sent her, but her attorney may have filed for open records and requested a copy of the police
Well,
report.
she received a text message from her cleaner, who received a text message from a friend of a friend, basically, and I don't know who all is involved in that chain, but they sent her the screenshot that somebody had sent somebody about the case number, and it says murder, I can't remember, involuntary manslaughter, but then it says that she was, heavily intoxicated and changed her story multiple times, and she sent us a message going, those are all lies. And I was thinking, sweetie, I didn't say anything back, or we didn't respond, and I was like, you gave us different stories.
Well, and again, so in the initial report, nobody will get my narratives and findings until I'm complete, because it's an investigative supplement.
Okay.
But the initial things that came out in the police report are from each officer that showed up.
Yeah,
And any interaction that they had with her, everything from the shift supervisor to the responding officer to people who held, like, any kind of small dialogue they had that they feel is important to get those statements, they're gonna put those things in there.
right.
So, of course, they all have different training, knowledge, and experience on what they believe someone to be intoxicated by, or what
Right,
their
right.
reactions are, so that's all just observations.
Okay.
But if she got a local copy, and if you guys wanted a copy of the local, you would see a lot of the same. And now I've spent a lot of time not only transcribing conversations with her the night of, but from officers, watching their body cam videos to get
Well,
their
that's what I was saying,
statements.
like, this isn't just their interpretation, they have cameras.
They do.
So,
Absolutely.
you've got,
And I had a recorder going the entire time when I spoke with her and got
Right.
my information. And then each time I've spoke to different family members and like, what did she say to you?
Yeah.
All that creates a picture
yes.
that we kind of able to sift through and make
Yeah,
our best
I
judgment.
didn't even respond, I just was
I'm
like,
like,
now the highly intoxicated, I don't know, she seemed like she had been drinking, but she drinks a lot anyway, so she's been very careful become very, very good about hiding it, I think, because she
There were
knows
some
we don't like
bottles
her
of wine in the
drinking.
trash can that were pretty recent, and in front of officers, she's kind of getting rid of bottles that they kind of noticed. And look,
I know,
that could be anybody
that's what
being
she-
like, oh, like,
Those are from 3 months ago.
right, I don't know.
Right, I know, I understand.
Obviously, in my dealings with her, I can definitely tell she was intoxicated. She had
Yes.
the odor of alcoholic beverage emitting from her breath.
I got that too.
But to what, like, I'm not in the business of testifying that she was at this level.
Well, and
I
I'm
can
not
just
even-
tell that she was showing signs of intoxication.
Well, and I'm not even worried about that part because we see her like that all the time.
That's
But
right.
I mean, she was upset about the different version of the story, and I was thinking, yeah, that's what you did.
And I told, Tonya asked why we didn't get blood tests done on her again. In a case like this, I'm trying to keep her cooperative. We're trying to, but what we can. So at the time, I didn't think it was necessary to try to, prove what level she was. I know that she was intoxicated. It
doesn't matter what level. Yeah, that makes sense, yeah.
Depends. It's like asking, is one beer too many to handle a gun properly? And some people would say, absolutely, it's too many. Some would probably argue, well,
I can get through a whole 12 pack and still hit a target.
I personally believe a single drop of alcohol
yeah.
and weapons are not going to mix well.
Right. Well, if it could, my thing is, it's like if you're talking to an officer and you're telling them I had a drop, would it get you in trouble?
That's right.
So if it would, let's just not do it. It's like I tell my kids that, I'm like, well, you weren't supposed to have candy, but you only had one piece. It's like,
still had candy.
That one piece still got you in trouble.
Right.
So the punishment was still the same.
That's right. But we're making good headway, and there's just a couple more things that we have to do, and then it'll be a while. Like if you guys wanted a copy, even once we make decisions, if you wanted like the final copy of like cases and things, that will take a good bit longer.
Yeah, I don't even know if I really want that. I was just going to bring it to your knowledge. Somebody sent her something, and I don't know where it came from, and I don't know who has knowledge of it or how that works.
Yes,
but she told us it was the police report, and I was like, that is a text message. That is not a police report.
Gotcha.
So,
and the news, the news has access to be able to come up here and get public copies of our reports, and a lot of that stuff is in there. So
yeah, no, it's public record. Yeah, yeah. I'm just trying to keep her calm, and
and you have been nothing but so helpful through all this. But I also don't want you to feel like you have to put yourself in a position that makes you uncomfortable.
No, I'm not uncomfortable.
I know you just
I'm
grief right now too.
Yeah,
so.
I'm anxious because my kids are struggling. So, I'm wanting to do whatever it takes to get this. If it helps getting statements from me, I'm going to do whatever it takes to help. I just don't need, our whole family needs to move on from this, and if that makes this process a little quicker, let's do it.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
So it doesn't bother me at all. I'm here to help however I can. And I'm there to help Ann. Sure. I'm not going to lie. She wanted us to lie about how he died. I said, I'm not doing that. I will say I don't want to discuss how he died, but I'm not lying about it.
She wanted you to lie about how he died?
She wanted us to come up with like it was an illness or a heart attack or something like that. And I was like, I'm not doing that.
When did she say that to you?
2 days ago.
So what do you mean? What did she say?
I can actually pull up. I didn't respond because I was so angry. I was angry because I was like, why would we lie about it? I don't want to lie about it. Let's see if I can find it.
I'm curious to even understand why Ann would think that would even be a
She says, okay, now that we have a cause of death, what are we going to tell people when they ask us how he died?
She's not talking about us, law enforcement. She's just talking to people in general.
Like our family.
Okay, that scared me. Oh, I see.
Our family. So people ask us.
I understand.
Yes. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to give you a brief heart attack.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, but she was like, we are not releasing that information. Short illness, ? Dementia, heart problem, ? And her son responded, I don't think we need to feel rushed or pressured to tell anyone anything at this point. And everybody else agreed. I just didn't respond because I wasn't, but I'm not going to be dishonest. I mean, if somebody comes up to me and says, was he the guy that got shot in the chest? I'm not going to lie about that. But if somebody comes to me and asks me, how did he die exactly? I'm like, well, we just really don't want to discuss it. So that's what I told her. That's not what I told her. That's what I told my husband. I was like, I'm not going to lie. If somebody point blank asks me if that's how he died, I just can't do that. I can't lie to somebody like that.
I understand, and I don't blame you, and that's something for you guys to determine, and we won't, the media, we can't control the media and open records.
Right.
But, at the same time, we don't have to try to push to the media. You know what I mean? Like,
no.
And we're not going to do any of that.
No.
We're trying to keep you guys and let you just handle things as best you can. So that's up to you guys to decide. And again, through the next couple of weeks till we kind of get everything finalized, hopefully, maybe not next week, but maybe the week after. But until that time, if you guys statements are made or something, just feel free to call me.
Okay.
And let me know. And I will do the same back to you guys.
Yes, that sounds great. So, I appreciate you being so
kind. I really appreciate you coming up here again and ruining your day, working everything else.
No, it's okay.
So,
no.
But you've been wonderful, you guys, and I'm gonna keep you guys in the loop.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you.
On February 27, 2025, Mary Ann Agans is arrested for felony involuntary manslaughter and reckless conduct. When the case goes in front of a grand jury, they indict Mary Ann on more serious charges: malice murder, felony murder, aggravated assault, and possession of a firearm during the commission of a felony. At trial, prosecutors argued that the couple had been in a fight. At some point, Mary Ann grabbed the gun and threatened James with it, while telling him to get in the shower. She then knowingly cocked back the hammer and fired the gun just 6 inches away from James's chest. The jury finds Mary Ann guilty of felony murder, aggravated assault, and possession of a firearm during the commission of a felony. She is sentenced to life in prison.